Hi y'all, good morning. It is sunrise on the Tennessee River and it is going to be a beautiful sight today. Look at the sky over there, man. We've had a break in the humidity. Colors are going to be amazing this morning. You know what else is going to be amazing? When we hook into some big catfish today. We're going after blues, flatheads, hopefully get a little bit of both. And I've already got our baits cut up here. We're getting ready to drop them down. So I'm going to put y'all in the chest. We're going to get baited up. And we're going to hopefully catch us some big monster cats today while we watch what looks to be an awesome sunrise about to happen. It's going to be a good day, folks. I can feel it. And we're going to get after it right now. This first bait, skipjack chunk. I've got us some fresh skipjack and some fresh white bass to use today. Got a cooler full, so we're going to have plenty of bait to use. Now, I'm going to show you my rigs, and once we get baited up here, I'll kind of tell you where I'm at and what I'm doing today, give you the rundown of the plan. But this first rig here, we're going to suspend one rod. That is a Carolina rig on 40-pound test, monofilament, down to a swivel, down to our leader, which is 80-pound monofilament. Got a 10-aught size circle hook, and then below that, a Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly. For now, I am going to drop this off the front of the kayak. We'll let it hit bottom and raise it up just 2 or 3 feet. Right now, we're 62 feet deep. We're kind of in a hole on a main channel ledge. And I'll show you my graph here in a second once we get everything cast out. I'm just in a little bit of a rush right now to try to get everything, get our baits out. We've lost the gut pocket out of that chunk right there. It's fine. Throw that out. Chum the water. Now, these next 2 rigs, they're going to be dragging rigs, which is what we're going to spend the morning doing out here, unless we just happen to get bit right now while we're setting still. I'm planning, though, on doing some dragging today. So we're going to just hook these baits up on our dragging rigs. And we'll cast them out while we're spot locked right here, right now. But once we get on the move, we'll be already set up and ready to go. So if you're new to my channel, if you haven't seen these dragging rigs, let me show you here the setup on that, and then I'm gonna cast it out. We've got, again, 40-pound test main line down to a 3-way swivel. This has got a homemade dragging sinker. There's a link down in the video description. You're gonna learn how to make those. They're excellent. Off of that, though, you've got a section of 80-pound monofilament leader, which is probably, I tied these last night, I'm guessing 3.5, 4 foot long, give or take. It's not an exact science. That goes down to a float and rattle, down to a 10-aught size hook with our skipjack head on that one. And then about a foot or so below that, we've got another Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly. So when we're dragging this through the water, this dragging sinker is obviously on bottom, dragging, stirring up some mud. The float keeps the bait elevated just off the bottom, and then we've got that fly tailing there behind it like a little bait fish. So I'm gonna cast this out behind us just a short distance. Let it go down. I wanna sit here for a little while this morning, right here at first light, as the sun comes up, and see what happens. I have been doing better lately on the move, dragging baits. I've caught very few fish suspending lately. I mean, just the bite dragging compared to the bite suspending, it's 10, 15 to 1. Like it's just, the dragging bite has been on. But what I haven't done lately is really put time into suspending baits from an anchored position, or casting baits out from an anchored position first thing in the morning, right at first light. And I said, you know what, today we're going to try it. How long? I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll let the fish tell us. But we're going to try it for a little while this morning, and then we're going to get on the move. And we're going to head upriver here, working main channel ledges, trying to run into some fish. Now, this setup here, exact same dragging rig setup as the other one. The one exception is the bait, and it is a white bass head on this one. I'm putting out 2 head baits here to start on these dragging rigs. And as the day goes on, morning goes on, we will work in some body sections on those dragging rigs. We may not sit here very long. It's just going to be it's going to be a gut thing. Just a gut, just a however I feel like. If we're sitting here, we're not getting bit, and I'm just not feeling it, then we get on the move. If we're sitting here, we're not getting bit, and I am kind of feeling it, well, we'll sit here a little bit longer. But we're out here at sunrise, man, and I've busted a lot of big fish just anchor fishing or spot locking and sitting on a spot right at sunrise. And this spot, let me get this cutting board clean. I know I can't get y'all to clean house here for me, so let me get this all squared away. And then I'm gonna show you my graph. I'm bringing y'all with me today, by the way, unedited here. This is raw and uncut. Y'all gonna be my fishing partners out here this morning for better or worse. We partners today. We're gonna see everything from right now we're dropping baits down to whenever this daggone camera battery dies, probably 4 hours from now, 3-4 hours from now, however long it takes. This, well, that was a big splash right there. I wonder if that was a paddlefish or something. Something come up big right there. But anyway, let me show you the graph. Hopefully you can see it okay here with the low light. So right now, we're on this main channel ledge, and it comes down here. You can see like mid 50s here, 54 feet. And it drops off here. We're 62 feet. It comes down into this little depression right here, and then comes back up. So you got a hole here in the main river channel. And this time of year, you get into late summer, post-spawn, get in here mid-August, these deep holes on the main river channel are excellent places to catch catfish oftentimes. So we're going to just start out here, just dropping some baits down in it. We'll see what's here. And again, if we are sitting here a little while, nothing happens, then we're going to get on the move. And we're going to work our way up this ledge today, just working upriver. And we're going to go a good distance, a good spell up here, just to, just work out our time. And we will, over the course of the morning, we will run into some fish. I promise you that. If you're seeing this, something went right for us, okay? You ain't seeing no 3-4 hour long skunk video. Something went right. And here lately, man, I've been on a good bite. Blues, I did get a flathead dragging there last week too, which is kind of unusual. Usually if I get a flathead, it's on a suspended bait, or when I'm setting still and I've got lines cast out. That's usually when you get the flatheads. Got one no dragons, which is a nice surprise. But been getting a lot of blues, been getting some good quality blues. The ledge bite, it's just been on. It's that time of year, it's post-spawn. They're out here on these main channel ledges, so you're seeing this. Something went right today. But yeah, I just wanna right now, right here at first light, I just wanna see what's going on. So I'm gonna put you in the chest. Y'all gonna watch that sunrise come up over there. It's gonna be beautiful. We finally had a little break in the humidity, at least for a day or two here, and it just opens up all these extra colors in the sky. It's gonna be nice. Be even nicer if we could see that rod tip right there go down as that sun comes up. I hope them fish have coordinated properly with me. Sometimes it's hard to get in touch with them. They've got like fax machines and stuff. They ain't got email like a normal person, so I don't know if the fax went through of what time they need to bite, but by gosh, if it happens, it's going to be awesome. But I'm just going to cover some water today while we fish out here. That's probably going to be the bulk of the plan. I mean, if we spend, say, 15, 20 minutes sitting here and then get on the move, well, if we're trolling 1/2 mile an hour and we fish for 3 to 4 hours, that's 1.5 miles, 2 miles of this ledge that we're going to cover up through here. And that whole time that we're trolling, we're going to be kicking up dust with them dragon sinkers, creating a dust trail. Our bait's pulling through the water, a cut bait, leaching off the blood and oils. It's creating a scent trail. So any fish that we come across, we got an opportunity for getting a reaction strike from them. Any fish that picks up on our scent trail or dust trail and is actively feeding, they can come chase us down because we're moving so slow. So it's a very effective way to fish, especially in the summer months. I do typically do better fishing on the move in the summer months, whether it's trolling on days where you don't have current flow or drifting when you do. Today will be one of those days where we don't have any flow. It's completely dead out here. The only movement of water movement we're going to have is just from the wind, and so it's barely moving out here as far as the wind goes. So we will definitely have to troll today to propel ourselves. But we'll go along about a half a mile an hour and just work our way back upstream toward the car. There comes the sun over the trees, folks. Take a look at that for a minute. Most of y'all sleep in too damn late. You don't ever see a sunrise anymore. Personally, I think it's good for the soul. It's hard for me to get up well before dawn to make sure I'm on the water at sunrise, but boy, when it all works out, it sure is a pretty sight. Just something about it, just magical first thing in the morning. I love it. I'm gonna love it even more when we get some fish today, man. I'm itching for it. Last week, I talked about, my last video was a carp trip for my regular viewers. And I had gone carp fishing that day because I couldn't get us any catfish bait. I've been just struggling to get any skips or any white bass. The bite I was on, and it wasn't a very good one, just fizzled out on me. And so anyway, I went carp fishing, thinking that I would keep us a small carp, supplement that with the limited bait I had gotten the day before. I'd gotten one white bass and one skipjack a day before, and then I would go catfishing the following day. Well, best of intentions, you know. Those of you that watched the carp trip, you saw it. I caught a bunch of big carp. Well, I caught a few big carp, excuse me, but nothing small enough that I wanted to fool with cutting up. So, since I didn't get any catfish bait, I thought, well, the next day, I'd just go ultralight fishing. Well, I wake up the next morning, fully intended to go ultralight fishing. Had my pedal kayak hooked up, ultralight rod in the car, like that's what I was going to do. And I woke up and I was like, I got that one skipjack. I got that one white bass. I still got leftover pack bait. I said, I'm going to go try to do a combination trip. I'm going to go get out on the main channel, throw out a couple carp rods, and then throw out a couple catfish rods too. Try to utilize the limited bait I had for both the catfish and the carp. So I get out there, you know, undo the other kayak, hook this one up, switch out my gear in the car, hit the water. Well, the launch I was using that day, there was me and one bass boat in the parking lot. Like it was just us. And that dude was launching when I was. And he come up, started talking to me. He recognized me. He said, man, I was just watching one of your videos last night, as a matter of fact. And I said, well, I'll be damned. You know, because most of these bass fishermen hate my guts. And he was a super nice guy. You know, we chatted for a couple minutes, and then he got in his boat and went on. I got in the kayak and went on. So I go on out the main channel, and I set up. And what I had done is I'd set up in front of a creek. It was a fairly shallow creek, and it had a flat off from it, and then the flat went out and dropped off to the main channel. So I set up out here on this flat, and I cast my carp baits toward the creek mouth, or it was kind of real shallow, because, you know, it was a real shallow creek that fed in there. I put them over there, and then I took my catfish baits, and I cast them off the other direction, trying to get them over the drop of the ledge there, so that hopefully I'd have a chance at both catfish and carp, and hopefully potentially hook some big ones, both species. Well, you know, I'm sitting there a little while, and The bass fishing guy had went across the channel. He was fishing along an island over there. And I'm sitting there, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, maybe 45 minutes. I hadn't caught anything, hadn't had a bite yet. And I see Bass Boat Man start idling over toward me. And I thought, well, surely he's not coming over here where I'm at, because, I mean, there's two of us on the water. Literally two of us. I mean, there was two vehicles there at the parking lot of the ramp when I got there, me and him. When I got back that day, there were two vehicles in the parking lot, mine and his. Like, it was it. It was just me and him on the water that day. No reason for two people to be on top of each other. And especially with him watching my videos, like, he should know that I don't like people being on top of me. I mean, who the hell does? Nobody likes that. Well, he's idling on over, and he stops off. I mean, I guess a reasonable distance away. I don't think it's very reasonable, because, again, there's only two of us on the water, and there's a million creeks that feed in. Like, why you got to hit that one? Go hit one of the million others out there. But nevertheless, he idles over, drops his trolling motor, starts making casts. He's casting this way. And, again, I've got my catfish baits cast out over that drop. And I think he's trying to fish that drop with his bass lures. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because he's kind of sitting right there where my baits are at. And I was like, man, I didn't say nothing to him. I just reeled up and I said, you know what? I've made a mistake. That was on a Friday. I've made a mistake. I should have went ultralight fishing like I'd originally planned. Like, this was a dumb idea, right? So I went on to the house. I let him have it. But I was like, why do people feel the need to get on? He's in a bass boat. That thing will do 80 miles an hour. He can be from one end of the lake to the other. Why the hell is he out there, like, 10, 15 yards away from me? Why? I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, I didn't end up catching anything that day. And I took the weekend off and get some stuff done around the house. And then I went out, I took Saturday off, I should say. The rest of Friday there on that day, and I took Saturday off to get stuff done around the house. And then yesterday, Sunday, I went out and I hit a different area. And my plan yesterday was, I was like, I'm going to go out yesterday morning and hit a different spot and look for some bait. And if that don't work out, then I was going to go back out yesterday afternoon and hit another spot, because, just desperate times, you got to find some bait to go catfishing. And thankfully, I got on some yesterday morning. I got us a cooler full. I think I've got enough for 2, maybe 3 days, depending on how much we use today. So now, most of it's white bass. I think I only got like 3 skipjack, might be 4 in there. The rest are white bass, but hey, we've done pretty good on white bass lately. I tell you what, let's do. How long has it been now? We've been at this. Yeah, let's get on the move, y'all. I'm not feeling it. We're not had a single tap. So I'm gonna come off a spot lock and get us on the move. And we're gonna set our speed here in a minute. Put it about a half a mile an hour. Put our course heading on. Now our speed, and then we'll back it off. That when you first set your speed thing on this motor guide, it puts you at a mile an hour. And then you can adjust it in 0.1 mile an hour increments. And so now that we're doing that, let's let out some more line on these dragon rigs, because I had just kind of tossed them out behind us there, so I want to put out more line to keep them on bottom. That short a distance that we had out, when we're moving along, they would come up in the water column. There wouldn't be enough line to keep them on bottom, so we'll get them out there, and we're going to get on the move, y'all. I wanted to try the suspended bait out here in this hole, throw these dragging rigs out in this hole and just see what, if anything, was going on, but it doesn't appear to be very much happening here right away. So maybe the fish that have been hanging out in this hole, and I assume there have been some, are kind of up on this ledge feeding potentially. I did fish this spot last week, or this section of the ledge, and I caught 3 pretty good fish along with some others. And then I had some silly stuff happen, and we were pulling along for God knows how long with my dragging rig wrapped in one of our suspended lines. And then I pulled up one of my rigs later on, and we didn't have any bait on it, so God knows how long we were fishing on credit with no bait on our hook. So I was like, I'm gonna come back out today. We're gonna get our act together out here if I can keep y'all focused, and we're gonna see what we can get. I'm gonna flip that bell over there. I think flip that one over too. If I can keep y'all focused today, though, we're gonna catch us some fish, and we're gonna get some good ones, man. It's that time of year. I think the last 3 catfish sessions now, I have gotten really good fish, so we're kind of on a streak. I anticipate us keeping it going today. Here's what I may do. I brought that one suspended rod, even though we ain't done worth a diddly doo-doo with it lately. I brought it today. I may reel it up here in a little while. I mainly wanted to bring it to just set out here, setting still, first thing. We may get it up out of the way here shortly and just focus on dragging the rest of the morning. I love catching fish on a suspended bait. It's the most fun way to catch them, in my opinion. But it's not always the most effective technique. And this has been one of those kind of time periods where it's not been very effective at all lately. So I want to focus on what's working until, well, there's another big splash. Oh, they're busting something. I saw shad come up. Let's see if they come up again. We got the camera pointed. Of course it ain't gonna happen. I don't know what it was. I saw the splash and I saw the shad come flipping up. Could have been bass, could have been striper. Who knows? He ain't gonna come up again now though, is he? Dang fish toying with us. Like a girl at the nudie bar, just teasing you. But yeah, I've been on a good catfish bite. I've had really difficult times catching bait. I mean, it has been an extraordinarily... There he is again over here, man. I'm gonna keep a camera pointed this way till he comes up again. Watch him he'll never show his face around these parts ever again. I want to see what that thing is. It's a pretty big fish. I mean, it's a big splash when he does come up. Sometimes you hear these giant splashes this time of year, and it's paddlefish. If you happen to be looking the direction at the right time, when they come up, you'll see them, and you'll see their big long nose and everything. Huge paddlefish. And I don't know why they come flying up out of the water and crashing down like that, but it's a summertime thing. You see it every summer. He ain't gonna come. What'd I do? Is that a fish or did I get snagged? I think that's a fish, y'all. We got fish number 1 right here on the suspended rod. I was talking bad about it, how we can't catch nothing on a suspended bait lately, and here we go. We done got us one. Fish number 1 on the suspended line. On a skipjack chunk. Still 60 feet deep here. Let's see what this is. I think it's gonna be a blue. Come on, fishy, you better show yourself now. Let's see what we got here. He's trying to get back there, my dang dragon line. Come on up here, fish. You get up here now and don't get in that line. We ain't doing no tangles today. We're not doing it there. We got us a blue cat. Did you throw the bait off? Hell yes, you did. You sure did. Come on. I'll forgive you. We got quite a bit of bait today, so I will forgive you for throwing that one piece off, but let's not make a habit of it. We want to make sure we got enough bait for 2 to 3 trips, as it's been so hard to get. Can't guarantee next time I go on a bait run that I'm gonna get any. Okay. Well, folks, fish number 1, we got the skunk out shortly after getting on the move. May have been a mistake for me to try setting still for a little while. I'm almost gonna hold this one out like that. He ain't front camera worthy. Check out that bug on top of him there, them old fleas or whatever they are. You got cooties there, fish. You can go down there and take you a bath or something. The fish there, he'll be going to school, because we're in August now, so the human school children they're back in school, and catfish will be going back soon too. They'll be taking a comb through their hair and looking for lice and stuff. That's what they do. Y'all remember that as a kid? You go there in school and they'd check you for lice, and it never failed. 2 or 3 kids would get sent home because they'd have the cooties. I was fortunate. I never had lice as a kid. I never had lice, and I never puked on a school bus. I always thought different about the kids who did, whether it was lice or puking on the school bus. There was always something different about those kids, I felt like. I gotta fix my rod holder there. That thing's been on here for, how many years I had this kayak now? 5 years. And it's about wore out the teeth on that thing. I'm gonna have to switch that rod holder out. Get all that slime off there. Yeah, let's put us another chunk. We'll drop another suspended one down. And by gosh, I was thinking about putting it up, but got our first and only fish so far on it, so we'll just, oh crap, we got snagged over here on the other rod. Let me get this and drop down, and we'll let out some line on that while we get this thing dropped down. Hopefully that's gonna come free, or else I'm gonna be reeling this one right back up to be able to go get it. Usually, use dragging rigs, you give yourself some slack and then lift straight up, it will pop free, but that is not going to be the case this time. I'll let it get loaded up. That was my mistake. That was my mistake, folks. I was trying to lower that other rod instead of grabbing that thing when it first started to get snagged, and I'll let it get buried into whatever it was in. All right, let's go get it right quick. One of the perks of dragging with only 2 rods instead of using all the, well, I got my dang fly hung and the sinker there on that too. We're in bad shape to start today, folks. I'm gonna need y'all to get it together here. I was trying to say, one of the perks of dragging with 2 rods versus using planer boards and whatnot is that when you do get snagged, it is very easy to go back and get your baits and get your rigs, keep from having to break off. You can waste a lot of time if you try to break off and retie and stuff, and it's time consuming to go back and get your rigs too, but you save money on gear, you save time both on the water by not having to retie everything, and also you save time at home. by not having to tie up as many rigs throughout the year. So, you know, it's a little bit of an inconvenience to go back and get them. But this area that we're in, it's got some snags. There's a lot of stuff down there. When I'd fished here last week, I think we got, there it came, just like that. Got behind it there, and we could have got that free had I picked up on it sooner. I let the tension get too tight. But last week when we were here, we did get on some snags. Well, we got snagged once. I think we had to go back and get it one time last week, but some others, like you could see, like we were coming through some rough stuff. There was another big splash behind us. Let me get everything reset here. Okay. Well, let's send that back down. Let's drop our other one there. Now let's get this one going. But yeah, there's a lot of debris and stuff that's settled in here, and so it makes for a challenge as far as pulling through it. But here's the thing, it's a lot of cover down there for flatheads to potentially hide into. And I have caught some big flatheads in years past on this section of the river. So I don't know that today's going to be the day, but it very well could be. Anytime you've got baits in the water, you never know. Got some more line on that as we get our speed dialed in. Right now we're moving, still slowing down. Our suspended line here is way behind. It's at that angle. I like for my suspended lines to be vertical under me when I'm trolling with suspended baits. Dragging rigs, it don't matter because they're on bottom pulling along anyway, so you just put out however much line you want or however much line you need to on a particular day. And most of the time I'll run these dragging rigs fairly close behind the kayak. Only time I really put out a lot of line is when, well, two situations. One is if the water's real choppy, whether it's a windy day or it's a day of a lot of boat traffic. You're getting hit with boat wake a lot. Let me flip the bail over on this one. Then I will put out more line, because the more line you put out, when the water's real choppy, it'll smooth everything out. Like you won't have that bouncing, herky-jerky motion with your line. I want them baits coming through there pretty smooth through the bottom. So that's one situation. The other situation, something I've done with some success in the past, is if you get a day where you're just not getting bit, and maybe you're seeing fish, like you got your graph on, you're seeing fish as you go across, but you just can't get them to bite. In those situations, sometimes I found if you let out a ton of line, I mean, have them baits going way off behind you, sometimes you'll start getting bit. And I don't know if it's just a situation where fish are just a little more spooky that day, and your kayak comes over and here comes your bait, and they're still just a little unnerved there, a little uneasy, and so they don't bite. And if you got way more line out, by the time the bait gets to them, they've done forgot about you going over them with the kayak. I don't know if that's it, or if it's just a situation where maybe the angle of the line with the extra distance, maybe that changes how it's going through the water or something. I don't know, but what I do know is I've had days where I can't buy a fish, and I let out an extreme amount of line, and then I get bit. So whatever the reason, it doesn't really matter to me as long as I get the result. And so those are the 2 times, though, when I let out a lot of line. But a day like today, we're not going to have any major wind or boat wake out here filming this on a Monday. We're not going to have, I don't think we're going to have a situation where we're going to have difficulty catching fish. I think if we come across them, I think they're going to be aggressive today, just time of year. So I think we're going to be good on that. Another thing too that is kind of when you've got a bunch of line out, one of the things that is frustrating is when you do get snagged, it takes that much longer to go get it because you got to reel up all that extra line. I just think it's worthwhile to go back and get your rigs. I know a lot of the planer board guys have to break off because they have so many rods out, so many lines, that to reel all them planer boards up, go back and get your snag undone, then get your speed set and start putting everything, it just takes so long. Planer board fishing takes forever to set up. In their situation, it's better to just break off that one rig, retie, and get it back out. But with us, like I hate tying rigs at home, and I hate wasting money, which you doing every time you leave a rig on bottom. I mean, hell, your hooks cost what, $1 a piece, your sinkers, and I make my own, but they still cost. Time you buy your supplies and everything, you're looking at a couple dollars to make your sinkers and float and rattle and all that. So hell, every time you break off, you're leaving $3 down there. I don't like wasting $3. I did in my younger days, going to the gentleman's club and stuff. I leave a lot of $3 in them G-strings, but as I've gotten older, I don't like wasting money, especially on no catfish rig. We're at 54 feet now, so I just raised that suspended line up a little bit. One of the things that I messed up on last week when we fished this area, seemed like a good idea at the time, but it just didn't pan out, was I went back. So we started out kind of downriver from where we started today, and we were coming up through, and I got bit. Like the first fish of the day was a good one, and it was just a few minutes in, and we went up a stretch, and I wasn't getting bit no more. And I was like, I'm gonna turn around and go back through that area again. Now, when I went back through the second time, the bite wasn't as good as the first time. And so we didn't end up covering, I fished, I think, 4 hours or so that day. So, and trolling the whole time. So I had a potential to cover 2 miles at a half a mile an hour. But I wasted time because when I reeled up, we had downtime when I ran back downriver. And then we worked the same stretch again, so it wasn't a very efficient day for me. Wasn't my best performance. We got bit, we got some nice fish, but it wasn't my best fishing performance. So today, I don't care how much we're getting bit. Now, if we go through a place and all 3 of these rods go down at once, well, sure, we'll sit there, we'll spot lock on in a minute, see what happens, see if there's some more fish there with them. But if we're getting a fish here, a fish there, kind of a sporadic deal today, then we're going to keep going the whole time. Like, we're just going to keep moving upriver and see what we can run into. It's going to be about covering water now that we're on the move. I had to, y'all. I know it was stupid. I mean, my fishing lately, it's been on the move, catching fish dragging, and here I did. I wanted to do the complete opposite, just sit there in that hole first thing. But I had to. I had to see what was going on. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me through that. I can get it out of my system. That's how I like to fish, though. If I can catch fish doing that, sitting still, and suspending baits, that's what I want to do. Like that's just more fun. I would rather catch less fish and have more fun with the fish I do catch than to catch more fish doing something that I don't enjoy as much, if that makes sense. But if it's a situation where how I enjoy catching fish isn't going to get us anything, well, then I would rather do what's going to work. But you don't know till you try it. I mean, I know the bite's been good dragging last week, but things change. We had a little bit of a weather change, not much. It's still hot, but the temperature dropped about 10 degrees. We were in the 90s last week, now we're in the 80s this week, and the humidity is much better today. It actually, I'll be honest with you, when I walked out my door this morning, it was still dark there at the house, of course. And you walk out and you feel the air temperature on you, and of course I got flip-flops on and everything. It's kind of hits you like, man, it's cold. I mean, it's 60-something degrees. But when you're used to being mid-70s in the mornings and high humidity, and you go out on a day and it's mid-60s and very low humidity, it hits you different. It feels different. It's that first kind of temperature drop you've had in a while, and like, well, it's a little chilly. Now that sun's up, you can feel it heating up quick. But boy, when I first went out this morning, I was like, boy, fall's coming, folks. Fall's coming. Be here before we know it. We had to trade in the flip-flops for some boots. That's a damn shame, too, because look at my toes, buddy. They look amazing. Me and the girlfriend, it was time. We went up there, Asian spa. I'll have to tell you that story today. Boy, that was something else. That was another experience. The girlfriend and my parents, they have got me going. If you're new to my channel, or maybe you ain't been here in a while, I've been telling some stories about the Asian spa. So these Asian spas, they're all over. They may be all over the world, but they're all over East Tennessee. We got like 5 of them in my town, and they're like nail spas, they call them. And women go in there and they get their fingernails done, they get their toenails done, stuff like that. Well, my parents go because they're old. They can't bend over and cut their toenails no more. I've been giving them a hard time forever about it. And somehow or another we got on and they wanted me to go. They're like, if you go, it's amazing. You know, you'll want to do it all the time. Like, the hell I will. So anyway, birthday rolls around a few months ago. My mom gets me a damn gift certificate to one of these Asian spas. And of course, my girlfriend was all excited. She's like, we're having a spa day. We're going to go get our nails done. It's going to be amazing. And I went because, I got that damn gift card and, you know, making the girlfriend happy, making her dreams come true to go spa day with me. And the first time I got my toes done, it was pretty traumatizing. Like, when they pull out all these gadgets on you, I'm talking a cheese grater to cut your corns off. They got an ice pick that they go around your nail beds on and pull out all this skin. Like, it's intense, okay? Like, I was hanging on for dear life. I walked out of there that first time and I was like, I ain't ever doing this again. I told the girl, I'm like, you will never get me back at one of these places again. Never. Well, We get home at night, time to climb into bed, and I notice, well, I'm sliding my feet under the sheets. My feet silky smooth, like they're not, my corns and my feet and stuff, they're not catching on the sheets, on the fabric. I'm like, man, this is kind of nice. And then you go to put socks on. Socks slide right on your feet, real smooth. They ain't, used to, and you don't even really notice it. Like I didn't notice that my feet was catching on the sheets and socks and stuff until they didn't anymore. And it was so noticeable how smooth everything, how my feet went into sheets and socks. I'm like, well, this is kind of nice. I didn't know what I was missing out on. And so anyway, I gave it another chance after that, and well, I guess it's like getting hooked on drugs. You can try it once and you're probably okay, but if you try something twice, you're going to be an addict. And so here I am now. I've tried it too. I've tried them Asian spas too many times, and now every time it's time to get my toenails done, me and the girlfriend having a spa day. Goddamn Asian spa. And so it had been a while, because Daphne, and you can still see there, my foot's still messed up right there. Daphne the dog about cut my foot off. I took her outside, and this has been a few weeks ago that this happened. I had took her outside. Oh, suspended rod. We got one. Oh, he just come free. Boy, ain't that something. We've had 2 bites now, both been on the suspended rod, and dragging rigs, which has killed it for us last week, ain't been touched yet. Ain't that interesting? I guess we won't be putting that rod up right away. We're gonna be leaving it out for a little minute. So, anyway, Daphne the dog, I had taken her outside and was gonna have to give her a bath because she had rolled in what I hope it was dog crap she had rolled in. I hope some human didn't take a dump in my yard. You never can tell this day and time. But regardless, she come in the house with crap, all feces, literal crap, all over her. Down her side, on her head. She had rolled in it. So I had to take her outside with water hose and give her a bath. Well, I hooked the leash to her, and I was standing on the leash while I was spraying her down, soaping her up and everything, right? Well, Daphne don't like getting a bath. And normally I do this, I put her in the shower with me, but I had already showered that day and I had plans that night. Like I was under the gun to get it done. Like I needed to get her bathed so I could leave. And so I stuck her on that leash, and I was standing on the leash while I was bathing her. And she went wild all of a sudden, trying to run and get away. And she got that damn leash wrapped around my foot, and I got a burn, like a friction burn, and it went deep in there too. Like, I mean, it was a pretty deep cut right there, real narrow, but deep where that leash went in. And so anyway, I've been on the mend from that. I'm not, let's see what's happening here. A little taparoo. Nothing exciting. Nothing to say. Oh, no, he's back. Don't be chewing up that bait, fish. You either eat it or you let it be. That's the rules today. Boy, he's really pulling on it there. He ain't pulling hard, but he's like pulling consistently on it. You think he maybe has the fly? I think he's got it. Maybe he has that fly that's behind our behind our cut bait. To be continued on the Asian spa story. This is a crazy thing that happened there at the damn Asian spa. You gotta watch yourself in them places, fellas. Hold on, no, this fish is interrupting the story. We'll get it going. I'll get back to it. I don't want to be distracted while I tell you what went down. This fish must have the fly, though. There's no way he has gotten the bait feeling like this. Because that white bass head was pretty decent sized bait. Yeah, he's got the fly. Fly got us an extra bite. I wish it had been a little bit bigger extra bite, but it's an extra bite nonetheless. Come on in, fish. Let's see what we can do with you here. Tiny old thing, ain't she? You got any bigger kinfolk down there? I had high expectations coming out this morning, fish. Get him going. He got slime all over the cut bait hook point there. It still looks like it's in good shape. Send it back out. Let me show you this too right quick before I drop this down so you can see what this rig looks like. Okay, so here's our sinker, you see? And when it goes down, it's on bottom. That float keeps the bait elevated up behind it. And then, of course, you got that fly there just below the bait. So the bait is just below the float, dragging behind it. And then the fly is right behind it. So you've got like a little, almost small bait fish trailing your cut bait, which is going behind the dust trail that the dragon sinker is kicking up down there when it goes along the bottom. We'll let out some line on that. Keep making our way along. So anyway, I'm into the Asian spas now. I like the way it's nice having somebody else cut your toenails. And they don't just cut your toenails, like they smooth up your feet to cut your corns off. They use an actual cheese grater on your corns, like it's a metal commercial grade cheese grater. And you'll have a pile of skin between the corns and them picking around your nail beds, which is kind of painful the first time they do it. It's gotten better since then, or maybe I'm just less, now that I know what's coming, maybe I'm a little less anxious, a little less tense sitting there, and maybe me being relaxed kind of makes it less painful. I don't know, but either way, it's more tolerable. Everything they do to me now is more tolerable than what it used to be. But we had waited a while to go this time because my foot was healing. I don't heal as quickly as I used to. I used to be like the Wolverine when I was younger, man. I'd get injured and you wouldn't even know I'd been hurt the next day. Well, now it takes forever for anything to heal, it seems like. So we had waited. My toenails was way too damn long. And so we go to this Asian spa place, and we went. It was a weeknight. We went. But much to my surprise, it was packed. Like normally when we go to these spas, there might be one other woman in there. This time, all the chairs were full except for the two that was open there for me and my girlfriend. And so a little uncomfortable having all these old ladies look at me, because I'm the only dude there, except for there's one dude working there. And I saw him and I was like, oh, I hope I don't get him. I don't want no dude touching. That happened to me. My second time that I went, I got a dude and it was awful. It was very uncomfortable. I don't want no man touching my feet. It's weird. I want one of the hot Asian chicks. That's the whole perk of doing this, in addition to your feet being smooth, is that you get some hot Asian chick rubbing on your feet where else can we get that as a, I guess you call myself middle-aged now at this point. I'm 42, but I mean, if most men live into their mid to late 70s on average, then technically I'm middle-aged. Crazy as that is to say. So, but where else can a middle-aged white man get attention from a young, hot Asian girl except at these damn nail spas? So it's an enjoyable thing. But you can't just walk in and say, hey, I want that hot one over there. You can't do that. It's luck of the draw. You get who you get. And so I had that one dude, that old man, the second time I went. It was awful. I've had some old women do it. But this time, I got one of the hot girls, young and hot. And, you know, the girlfriend, she looks over at me with that look like, you know, because every time we went in and I've ended up with either the dude or an old lady, like, it just adds to her enjoyment because I'm not getting what I want. And I think that so this time, you know, I get one of the young hot ones here, and, you know, she's all a little bit jealous about it. That's what it boils down to. But anyway, this girl sits down and she gets to work on my feet. You soak them for a little while in this foot bath thing, and then they cut your toenails, and then they get to work with the file. And I noticed, you know, I wasn't trying to be so obvious with me just gawking at her while she's down there doing her job and whatnot. I just take a little peek here and there. But when she was filing my toenails down, I noticed, like, well, this girl's getting a little aggressive here. Like, she's getting a little rough. You know, I'm not one of them bondage people or nothing. You know, I don't want to be tortured. And like, she was getting very physical with this file. And I noticed at that point in time, this girl's crying. And, you know, I don't know what's up. Like, I don't speak her language, so it's not like I can ask, are you okay, honey? You know, a part of me feels like I need to get some human trafficking card. Like, are you being human trafficked? And hand them that card with the phone number, because I'm pretty sure all these Asian spas, there's so many in town, none of them speak a lick of English. They got Asians in there. This place we've been going to, it's got Asians and Mexicans. Like, I'm pretty sure these people are coming straight from the border to Tennessee and being forced to work in these places. But there was another big splash. But I will say they do a damn good job on your toes most of the time. But anyway, this girl, she's crying. And I'm thinking, well, she must be fresh over the border or something. You know, something's went on. And she's really rough. And I want to say something, but I can't because I don't want to be a wuss. Especially with all them other old ladies around here. Like, you know, I can't wuss out with all these old ladies just being pampered around me and stuff, you know. I just can't. I can't do it. So I've got the death grip on the chair again, on the arm handles, like I'm hanging on while she's sawing away here with the file. And thankfully she gets through that and I survive it. And she starts in with the ice pick around my nail beds, and I'm looking at this girl, and like, she's crying, like tears, snot, like she's having to stop and wipe snot on her nose. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this girl? You know, like, this is, you know, I'm curious. Well, a little time's going by in this process of getting your toes done, fellas. If you end up going, don't walk in there thinking it's going to take 5 minutes to cut your toenails, okay? Like, it ain't like it is at home when you do it yourself. It's a hour-long process because, again, they soak your feet, they cut your nails, they file them down, they pick the skin out your cuticles, they take the cheese grater to you. Then they're going to put this, for some reason, they take slices of orange, like an actual orange that you eat, and they rub it up and down your legs, and then they get some lotion, and they give you a foot massage and a like lower leg massage. Like, it's an hour-long process to have this done. But part of the way through the process here of this girl working on me, this other woman comes up. I'm pretty sure she's Mexican. Like the girl that was doing my feet's Oriental. Hot too. I mean, she's a 10. And this Mexican woman, she's a little bit older. She comes up. I think she's running the place. I guess she probably works for the cartel. But she comes up, and I feel like there's multiple languages being spoken here. I feel like it's like broken English, Spanish, Chinese. Like I'm feeling like there's a combination of languages that work here. Hold on, we got a fish. Something hit us there. Something hit our skipjack head. But like there's a lot of languages being spoken at the same time. Best I could gather, though, what had happened from the English that I was able to recognize, which is tough for me, because if somebody's got an accent, I have a hard time understanding what they're saying. Even if they can speak English, if they've got a thick accent, it's tough. And this Mexican woman, she clearly had an accent too. And best I can figure what happened was, that had this girl so tore up, was that they had a customer before me who was supposed to get charged $100. And this girl only charged them $25. And so they were trying to call that customer to get them to come back and pay the difference. And they couldn't get in touch with that customer. And I'm like, I can't believe they got the nerve to call. Like, that person ain't going to come back. If they were, I mean, first off, what the hell costs $25 at these Asian spas, okay? Everything's more expensive than that. I don't know what the hell, could they get a bottle of water for $25? I doubt it. I mean, it don't make no damn sense. So if the customer was going to be honest about the situation, they would have stepped up right away and been like, I think I owe more than that, while they were at the cash register. They clearly did not. They saw an opportunity and said, well, I guess we're getting a deal today, and they paid their $25 that this girl who's now sawing my feet off with the file, they paid her that $25 and they got the hell out. You know, it is what it is. And so the Mexican woman, like she's over here, this girl is she's working on my feet, and she's getting yelled at by the Mexican woman because I guess she rang that person up inappropriately or wrong price, whatever. And now the Mexican woman can't get in touch with them. And I'm pretty sure, again, broken English and all, but I'm pretty sure the girl had charged $25 when it was supposed to be $100, which that's significant. So I guess, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all human trafficked over here, so they probably have to work off a debt to the cartel for being smuggled over the border and whatnot. And so I guess that was going to add to her debt or whatever. And so this girl's tore up about, like, she's crying because the Mexican woman's yelling at her in a variety of languages over this bill. And yeah, so it negatively, you know, aside from this girl having a bad day, like her bad day leaked over to me as well, because again, she's going to town with that file. I mean, it's like a daggone, like a saw, man, like me out there trying to saw a branch off a tree before I got my chainsaw. Like, I mean, just back and forth. And when you get these spa packages, your nails done, pedicure. Oh, we had another one hit. I'm going through some small fish right now. Oh, there's one. That one's a little bigger. Oh, he dropped it. Dadgummit. I was looking back at the other one when this one went down. Let me check our bait on this one. Make sure my fly ain't up around my sinker again. Just something crazy like that happened. Oh, everything still looks good. Okay, send it back down. But yeah, the spa package, part of your getting your toes done is that massage with first with the orange slices and then with the lotion. And it's supposed to be a massage, and it usually is. But there's a difference between getting a massage and just getting rubbed. And this time, I just got rubbed. Like this girl, she was just like, you know, she's upset because she's mischarged the know how she's going to get back to China if they send her back to Mexico, and who knows what the cartel's going to do. So she's tore up. She ain't focused on my feet or nothing. And I don't have any kind of trafficking hotline number to give her on my way out the door. So, you know, I don't know what to do. But she's tore up. Like she's upset. She's sad or scared or both because of the Mexican woman yelling at her. And I think she's probably pissed off the Mexican woman too, and she's taking it out on me, and it just wasn't a very good. Meanwhile, my girlfriend, she had a great experience. Got a nice massage and all that. The girl at least did cut my toes pretty good, my toenails, which that's the whole goal going in there is get the toenails cut. That's mission number one. So she did at least cut them down. Sometimes you got to watch them, and here's another little pro tip for you I've learned in my very few limited experiences at these spas. And it was actually the second time I went, the dude, they're a little, what's the word I'm trying to, about to catch a fish while I try to think up my words. Has he got it? He hit it a couple times. Is this another one that's maybe on the fly? I think we got him on there. I think maybe another one on the fly, possibly. Well, I don't know. This might be a little better fish. I mean, it ain't no monster, but I think it might be better. It feels like it might be a little better than the last one for sure. I don't know. I wonder if this ain't another one that's maybe on the fly. I can't believe we ain't got something of good quality coming up through here so far, though. Like, I mean, I'm really surprised. We're going to turn when we get up here I'm bad with distances, quarter mile, half mile more. We're going to turn and we're going to go, the river splits here. And we're going to go up this other ledge where I've caught some really good fish in years past. And we'll see what happens there. But so far, we're lacking bites and we're lacking quality so far today. This trip so far has not lived up to the trips of last week. Yeah, it is a little better fish than the last one, and he is on the fly. It's interesting now. It's two fish on the fly. The smallest bait that we have out, essentially, is the fly. Oh, and there he went too. He just unhooked himself. He was kind of skin hooked there in the side of the mouth, and boy, when he spun, he just pulled that fly right out. Easy peasy, I like it. We need all them small fish to do that. Let us have the fun of reeling them in, leave our bait on, and then unhook themselves. That's perfect. But yeah, up here, the river, there's two rivers that come in here. We're gonna go up the right side up here, but that's about half mile away probably. Yeah, but anyway, when you go into these spa places, And this dude that cut mine, I hated it too. I couldn't stand him touching my feet. I don't want some dude working. I just want to go in and get one of them hot girls. That's what I want. But one of the things they do to kind of, I don't say scam you, but I think it's a little unethical, is you go in, you get your toenails done. Oh. Has he got it? No, that one ain't got it. But you go in, you get your toenails done, and they barely cut your toenails. And they do that, if you ain't careful, if you don't really look at them and make sure that they're cut down low enough for you, they'll barely cut them. And they do that so that you got to come back more frequently. You know, normally you get your toenails done, you don't have to do it but once every 4 to 6 weeks. But if they just barely cut the tips of the toenails there, well, you're going to be going back every week or two. Puts more money in their pocket. So you got to watch them. And sometimes they'll try to scam you like that. This girl, she cut them down pretty good for me. She just got too rough with the file and her foot massage skills. She is pissed at that woman, man. I have to believe that Mexican woman was running the show. That one we've been going to, again, there's multiple Asian spas in my town. I mean, we've got 5 or 6 of them. They're probably all owned by the same cartel. But, I mean, there's everybody in there. There's Asian people, Mexicans, I can't tell the difference. Like, if you ask me to spot the differences between like a Mexican and a Guatemalan or something, I can't tell you. I don't know. We have a bunch of Hispanic people in my area, but I'm not familiar enough with the only time I interact with them is if I go to an Asian spa. So I'm just assuming that it's all cultures in there at these places. But somehow or another, you go into these spas, and it will be nothing but hot chicks in there, and there'll be like one old one, and that's the one I usually get. And it's kind of like if you go to a nudie bar, gentleman's club, that one ugly stripper. Every strip club has that one ugly one. Depending on what gentleman's club you go to, they may all be ugly. But if you go to a finer establishment, you'll have hot chicks, and you'll have the one ugly one. It never fails that one ugly one's going to sit down at your table. Never fails. And it's kind of like that going to the Asian spa. Normally when I go, there'll be one old lady in there around all these hot chicks, and I'm going to get the old lady. I'll finally get me a young one, and backfires on me. It's the one having the worst day. That was an experience, though. I manned up, though. I had hold of the armchair handles, and I had the death grip on while she was going to town on my toes with that file. I wasn't going to let them old ladies sitting across the way from me there, I wasn't going to let them know that I was wussing out during the filing. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction. I could tell they didn't want me there. Not the spa people, they just want money. They want everybody in there. But the old ladies, because when you go in, I don't know how many chairs they got. It's like 5 or 6 chairs on each side of the room. And again, they were all full. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. You don't see the people over here beside you down this row, but you see the ones across from you over here, and it's all old ladies. They're getting their toes worked on and stuff. And you could just see the judgment of them looking at me. They did not want me there. I'm not welcome. That's a place that women go to hang out and be pampered and stuff, and they don't like men folk around there. You know, it's like we're invading their space or something. That's their territory. But unfortunately for them, again, it's like getting hooked on drugs or something. You might can try it once and be okay, but when you hit it that second time, you're gonna be an addict. And that's kind of how I am with the toes now. Every time it's time to get my toenails clipped, the girlfriend takes me spa day. She wants me to do my fingernails too. I was like, I ain't doing I can cut my own fingernails. Like, I'll cut them myself. I don't care. Apparently they massage your hands and stuff too, like they do with the feet, but I don't know. It's something different about, I don't know. I don't want to have it done. She wants me to, but I don't want to have it done. I finally about got this toenail. Don't you perverts be looking at my feet either. You see that right there? That blood right there? That was way down here. It's finally about worked its way out of my feet there. That happened back in the winter. I was playing football with Daphne the dog, and we play football, but she don't ever want to play football anymore. She likes playing Frisbee now. But the football's too big for her mouth, but she can bite the end of it. As we got our front suspended rod here getting hit. Okay, he's got it. We got us another one. Let's see what we got here on the suspended rod. This will be what, 2 on the suspended and 2 on the dragging so far. None of which have been anything to write home about. Quality, very poor today. Thus far, anyway. Yeah. So another. Oh, he's lassoed too. I got a feeling this one's going to go crazy. He's got the bait, like the cut bait hook. Oh, Lord, he just splashed me right in the mouth. Ugh. I think he just threw the bait off too. I knew when he come undone from that fly wrapped around him, he was going to go crazy. I knew he was going to do that. Dadgummit. I'd like to have that bait back, fish. We're limited on skipjack now. There, going out of here. I ain't holding you up for no camera time. Acting that way, you don't deserve it. We ain't rewarding bad behavior around here. We ain't doing it, by gosh. I'll show these fish who's boss. I'm tired of them doing me that way. Did y'all get water all over your face? There ain't one drop of water on that lens. It's all over me. I guess he didn't. Look right here. Is that the bait? Did he sling that bait up into the kayak? I think he did. I think that's our bait. I'll be damned. I'm gonna put that back on. How about that? Maybe that fish was being nice to us. I judged that fish too soon. He's like, Justin, I don't want to accidentally throw this bait off the hook into the water, so let me just toss it up into the kayak. I'll be damned. We're going to be a little conservative with our skipjack, just because, again, I don't have very many, and I want to have at least one left over for tomorrow, wherever we end up going. Won't be coming back here tomorrow, but I wanted to hit this area again where hopefully we weren't going to have some crazy stuff happen, although kind of wish I hadn't come back here today at this point, at least so far. It's been kind of a dud thus far today. We're getting some bites, but we're not getting very many, and we're not getting very good quality yet. We'll see how the rest of the morning goes here. I got a feeling we get up here to this point and we go up this other ledge, business may pick up. We'll see when we get up here. We're probably, I can't judge distances from looking at it. I've never been able to do that. But we're going to get to it today for sure. Like, it's going to happen out here this morning. I don't remember what I was talking about now. Something about, oh, I was talking about my toe. Daphne, yeah, we played football, we used to. She couldn't get the ball in her mouth, but she could get the end of the football. And Daphne don't want you getting, like, she don't want you getting her stuff. Like, she's gonna run from you. Instead of like a normal dog that'll bring you the ball, give it to you so you can throw it and they go chase it. Like, she wants you to chase her. And so I'd have to run around the yard there and try to knock that ball out of her mouth. Well, we was playing one day and I was trying to kick it out of her mouth and I accidentally kicked her in the face instead of kicking the ball. And it didn't hurt Daphne. Like, she wasn't fazed by it, but boy, it hurt my toe. And I had a big thing of blood there under the toenail, and it's been under there for months, but it's about worked its way out finally. Y'all don't care about that, but I'm just, by gosh, if you're not going to carry this conversation, one of us has to. And so that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about, by gosh. Asian spas, human trafficking, and blood under my toenails. That's what we're talking about. We're about to talk about a fish here. Look at this. That might be a little better. Oh, he just let it go. Just let it go. Looked like like it's going to be a better takedown. Just didn't stay buttoned up. Kind of makes me wonder with two fish. I mean, granted, they were smaller fish, but two of them eating the fly. I'm wondering if we shouldn't have on a smaller bait. Like I said, we've had a little bit of a cold front come through. Now, granted, it's summertime and we've went from 90 degrees down to 80 degrees, so it ain't like it's a huge drop, but from a atmospheric pressure type situation, maybe it's affecting these fish a little bit potentially. Maybe it is, I don't know. Maybe we need a smaller bait. If two of them fish there eating the fly, which is the smallest profile of bait that we have out, maybe that's saying something. I'm probably going to leave the baits we got on until we get up here below this point, and then I'll switch everything out and we'll have fresh baits on before we roll up on that point and that part of the ledge. Be nice to spruce everything up before then. I probably should already spruce things up, but, well, this fish here don't give a crap about it. He said he don't need a spruced up bait, does he? All right. Business picking up here, y'all. Maybe we finally getting on some. Took a while. That's fishing though, man. You just gotta take what the river gives you on any given day. And today it's been kind of limited bite. There was something splashing right there. Well, kind of limited bites and poor quality thus far, but your fortunes can change at any given time. You never know when the big bite is coming. And you know, with these unedited trips, these raw and uncut videos, like y'all are my fishing partners. Whatever happens, happens. Big fish, small fish. I mean, we're catching something. I ain't gonna post no skunk video like this, and skunk trips happen. Not so much this time of year usually, but they do happen. But y'all see it all on these trips. Whatever goes down, shenanigan wise, whatever the river gives us, like, y'all here for it. This one's, I think, is going to be a smidge better. He feels like it anyway. I don't think he's going to be too much better, but he's on another one on the fly. Boy, ain't this interesting. 3 fish now on the fly. Look at that. Another dink, but man, that is interesting, folks. The smallest profile bait. I wish this one here would pop off. He's barely skin hooked too. Watch this, watch this. Oh, he threw our head bait off just then. There we go. I was able to pull it out. He was skin hooked too. Yeah, these flies here, I tied these on last night, put these new dragon rigs on. I snipped the hair off these flies. When you get these flies from Catfish Sumo, the hair comes out about yay far on there. And I was like, I knew I was going to be running big head baits today. I was like, I'm going to cut that hair back closer to the hooks. That way this will look even smaller as it goes through the water. That way we'll have a big bait and a small bait. And it's very interesting that they're taking that right there. Very interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do. I'm very intrigued right now with this fascination with this small baits that these fish seem to be having. Here's a smaller white bass. I think what I'm going to do, we're going to put another head bait on this rod. I think we'll reel in our skipjack head. We'll put a smaller piece of white bass on the dragging rod over here. I'll reel up our skipjack. We'll put another chunk of skipjack on, and we'll cut the gut pocket out of it. We'll try some smaller baits here for a little while and see what happens. That's once is an accident, twice is a pattern, 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, that's saying something. That's very interesting. Sometimes you just gotta pay attention to stuff like that. Like, I've had days. That's a pretty small bait. I'm gonna leave that one as is and put over there in our skipjack. We will cut the gut pocket out. Let me grab it. But some days you'll have that where fish just, they want something a certain way, whether it's a technique, whether it's a cut of bait, whether it's a size of bait, a type of bait. Like, sometimes they will tell you if you'll pay attention. And I've had days, and you all have seen it on my channel, where the only bites I could get would be on the daggone flies, where they just wouldn't touch the cut bait, but you get them on the flies. Like, I've had days like that. And so I don't know what's up today, but I want to have a head bait out for sure, because I've got just a ton of confidence in head baits for big fish. So I want to have at least one out. But we'll try smaller baits on the other 2 and just see what happens here. It's just, I don't know. We'll try it a little while. We ain't got nothing to lose. We're not going to suddenly start catching smaller fish than what we're getting, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we're going to go downgrade our catches in size or anything. And I've caught big fish before on really small baits too. You just never know. Now see this fly here, this is one's been used a lot, but you see how that hair on there is so much longer than the hook? I hadn't trimmed this one down, so this fly here looks significantly bigger than the others. And if my scissors here, I don't think these things are so dull, I can't cut this. Yeah, these scissors ain't no good. I'd cut that thing down today, but I can't. Yeah, we'll try that smaller piece of skipjack there. Right now we're 51 feet here, by the way. We're coming up in depth. In that hole there, we started out 62 feet and just making our way up. Okay, got that out. Let's reel in our skipjack head now. It's time for this thing to be changed anyway. Oh crap, it's hung too. Come out of this. There it goes. Got that one in time. We'll put the white bass chunk on this one, and part of me's thinking I should cut that gut pocket. The guts have already fallen out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. Because I mean the belly meat ain't got much blood in it. Ain't got much oil in it. And once the gut pocket's gone, we'll make it a little smaller. Yeah, that head, you can see there, it's washed out. The dinks have hit it a few times. It's seen better days. Yeah, let's take our knife here and let's flip that. Is it time for that yet? Yeah, let's flip that bell over. We're just gonna cut this right here. That'll give us 2 small baits and a smaller head bait. We'll see how it goes. We'll just keep trying stuff, man. We're just gonna keep tinkering with it and hopefully we get something dialed in. It's possible. I mean, we did have this little front come through. Maybe it's kind of shut these fish down a little bit. Maybe it's got them wanting a smaller bait potentially. I don't know. Every day's a puzzle, man. Every day's a puzzle. Usually when you get on a bite, whether it's a location, a type of structure, type of bait, when you get on a bite and figure out a pattern, it will usually last until you have a change. Whether that's a change in the weather, a change in the water conditions, a change in the current flow. Like that bite will usually persist until something is different. What's going on here? Like, is that? I think a fish is hitting that while I was letting out line. By gosh, we got a fish on there. I was letting that line. I was like, I kept hearing it like it wasn't coming off the reel smoothly. Like it was herky-jerky. And we got a damn fish on it. That small, oh, he just let it go. That was a small piece of white bass. Let's see if it's still on. Usually white bass is a tough bait. Usually hard for them to rip off, but that was a smaller piece, so we'll just take a look and see. Yeah, let's check it here. Yeah, it looks okay. Okay. How odd. All right, well, let's see if we can get that thing set before the next one comes out. But yeah, you know, we was on a good bite. We had this little cold front. Maybe it's just messed with things a little bit. We'll try the small bait, see how it goes. That big fish, man, it could happen anytime though. I mean, I've been on some pretty good quality lately. And it's just post-spawn, fish are feeding up. They've been on that nest, and the male fish have lost a lot of weight during that time, and so they're active, they're feeding heavily. Be interesting to see how the rest of the morning plays out here. See if this smaller bait not only catches us more fish, but potentially bigger fish. I've not been paying super close attention to the graph portion. I had a fellow the other day, he commented and he made a request that I put a camera on the graph and just put it on the screen at all times when we're doing this. And I don't want to do that just because it's going to get in the way and pain in the ass. I've done that in the past when I've live scoped fish so that y'all can see the bait I'm dropping down on live scope. And for that purpose, I think it is helpful to have a camera there for the viewing experience. But a day like today, where we're just working this ledge, like I'm just working up through here, and the contours in this area, it's kind of gradual here. Like this is a gradual drop on this side that we're at. Like it's just not, we're not really working a break line like you would normally see me do on a lot of stretches of the river. There's really nothing for y'all to see on that graph. Like I'm not even really paying attention, other than just kind of watching the depth occasionally to make sure I don't need to bring my suspended bait up. Like that's the only thing I need. I need depth and speed. If there's fish showing on there while we're doing this style of fishing, I don't really care. It doesn't change what I'm going to be doing. So I think too many people, I'm going to flip this bell over on this back rod. I think too many people, especially new catfishermen, they get too reliant on their electronics as far as seeing fish on the screen. They're almost paralyzed by it. Like if they don't see fish, they can't fish that spot. You know, and it's one of those things that's like, I've had some really, really good days where I've caught a lot of fish and I've caught a lot of big fish. And when I got there, I didn't see nothing on that screen. Because like if I'm anchor fishing, I'm setting up on a place that I think fish are going to work through. They may not be there at that moment, but maybe I think they're going to be coming through at some point in the day. And so I set up on that spot. So whether I see fish on the screen or not, it's irrelevant. Because I know I'm setting up in a place that maybe it's a creek mouth, maybe it's a point, maybe it's some place where fish, I'm expecting them to swim through. They could come through at any time. So it don't matter if you see anything on the screen or not. Got snagged again. Let's see if we can work this out. Oh, come on now. For the love of God. We don't want to have 2 snags in a day. There it comes. We've done had our snag for the day, y'all. That's it. 1 snag per day. That's it. But when you're setting up on a place you're expecting fish to move through, who cares if they're on the screen or not? Who cares if they're there or not? Because you're in a place where they can move through at any time. And granted, now today we're doing a different style of fishing. We're dragging baits. We're on the move. We're actively moving. Again, same scenario though with the graph as far as what we're seeing on the screen. I don't care if I see any fish on that screen, because with us covering water, just because we may not see a fish here don't mean that there ain't a fish 100 yards in front of us. a quarter mile in front of us. Like, we're just covering water and we're eventually going to get it. And the other thing too, with dragging, we're creating that trail, both a dust trail and a scent trail behind us. So any fish that's kind of roaming around out here in the channel, they may not be within our transducer beam, but they could still be in the area, and they pick up on that trail, they come get our baits. Because this area through here, without having any major contours for them fishes to kind of work along, like having an edge to follow, they're just going to kind of roam around out here a little bit more. And they're going to follow bait. They may find some sunken object like a tree or anything else that may be laying on the bottom there, maybe some big rocks or whatever, you know, they might relate to that, maybe hang out by that. But they're going to be just kind of roaming around this area here. So just because you don't necessarily see them on your graph, because that fish doesn't happen to be within your transducer beam at that given moment, it doesn't mean that there's not fish there. And so I just think that people get too reliant on seeing something on the screen. Now, if you are trying to live scope fish, and you're wanting to drop a bait down right on their face or something, well, you need to see the fish on the screen in that situation, right? But for what we're doing, the style of fishing that we're doing, what I'm typically doing when I'm catfishing, seeing fish is just a novelty. It doesn't affect what we're doing, our approach, nothing. Like, it's just the novelty of seeing them there. So I won't be, for this style of fishing, I'm not going to be hooking up a camera to the graph. Now, I'll show you the graph from time to time. Like this morning, we were getting set up. I tried to show you how I was fishing, what we were going to be doing, all that on the map card. But, you know, the actual graph part where you see the fish and stuff, it's like, that's the main numbers we need to consider today while we're out here is that top number, which is the depth, right now 53.8 feet, and the bottom number, which is 0.5 right there. That's half a mile an hour. That's the speed we're going at. The number in the middle between them two is 78. That's the surface temp of the water temperature. And that, honestly, I don't really give a damn about that this time of year. I more or less pay attention to water temperature in the spring when it's first starting to warm up. You start looking for maybe, you find you some water that's a few degrees warmer than somewhere else, you usually find some fish. The rest of the year, I don't really care. Again, it's winter time, early spring. That's when I'm looking at that water temperature. I'm about to look at a fish right here if this one will stay hooked up. You think he will? Yeah, he is. This one here is hooked up, y'all. Don't know if he's on the fly yet or the small chunk of white bass, but he's on there. He ain't wanting to come up here, is he? He ain't really fighting. He's just kind of sitting there letting me pull him. Oh, I think our other rod's getting hit. Something hit it. I saw it at the corner of my eye. All right, maybe we're going through something here. Don't see nothing on the screen for those of you that's interested. They ain't a single mark on my graph right now, but we got two fish, and we apparently went over the top of these fish too. Or they picked up on our trail one. Oh, we do have another one on now. Or I'm snagged one. Let's pick up on this. No, I'm snagged. Dadgummit. There it come. There it come out of it. Well, wasn't no snags. I thought we had a fish on. I looked over and I saw that thing. Rod going back. I was like, man, we got a big one over there. Lots of stuff on this stretch of the river here. Lots of stuff. All kinds of places. That's why I've caught so many good flatheads here before in the past. It's got all that debris down there. It's all kinds of places for them to bury themselves in and hide. My video, I think the video was filmed in 2016 or 17. It was a long time ago. 7, 8 years ago. It was the one video on my channel to this point that's hit 1 million views. It was filmed here, and I got a big flathead. I was drifting that day. It was an afternoon. We had some current. Yeah, it's a blue cat, smaller one. I can't tell yet what he's got. He's got the cut bait. All right, we put a smaller piece of cut bait on and we get hooked up. Interesting. May I get hold of you, fish? May I? He says, Justin, you may not. He says, instead of you getting a hold of me, I will just wrap myself in the line and cause a mess. Tell you what then, if you want to be like that fish, let's let you come on in and be like that. Okay, there we go. That ain't too bad. He wasn't wrapped up in it like I thought he was. And we got our bait back. Very nice of you, fish. Very nice. Just a dink. But another bite. We're just having to take what the river gives us today. I come out here, expectations high, wanting to get a big one, but it's kind of like my expectations going into the Asian spa. Like, I want to get a hot Asian girl, and I want her to do a good job on my feet. And you don't always get what you want, folks. You just gotta take what you get. Well, let's send that back out. 49 feet here. We gotta adjust this bait. Let me slide us over a little bit here too, a little bit. Let's go a little bit to the left here, maybe. Okay. Get our suspended bait back up there. All right. Well, another bite anyway. How many fish have we got now? We've been at this about a little over an hour and a half. We've got, I know we had 3 on the fly. We had 1 suspended, 2 suspended. That one. It's at least 6 fish. It's pretty good numbers-wise for an hour and a half or so, but oh, we're getting the numbers. We just need the quality. That's what we need now, folks. We need the quality. We need to get y'all to conjure us up a big one. We've got our warm-up in. Well, this is batting practice, basically. Now we're ready for Coach to put us in the game so we can hit that home run. I feel like I got a home run in me today. I got 1 or 2 good swings left in me here. There's some bait right up there about 20 feet deep. We're coming over. We'll show you that here on the screen. It's a school of shad right there. There's something smaller kind of under it. They're up there about 20 feet and 50 feet of water. You'll see schools of shad like that out here in the main channel this time of year. Oftentimes I think these fish will relate more to the schools of shad than they will actual structure, like points and humps and stuff like that. There we go, come over another one. That's the secret to getting them snags when you're dragging right there, folks. You see that rod first starting to load up. or it's hung on something, give yourself some slack, then raise straight up and over. And that will usually pull you up and over whatever debris you're going through down there. Them sinkers being so long, let's flip our bail over on this one. These sinkers, let me show you one here. So you see these things, they're really long. And so when you're coming across bigger objects on the bottom, whether it's logs or limbs or even rocks and stuff, it's going to slide over. And sometimes you'll kind of, if you're coming across a bigger object, you'll kind of get wedged there. And that's where you give it to slack and pull up and you can get it over. The advantage of these versus you take something like a piece of lead of some kind, pick your lead sinker. It's the size of them. If you're taking a piece of lead and dragging it on bottom, you go through a rocky area, you're going to get down in them crevices and get that thing hung, and you're going to have to break off. This very rarely gets hung, and when you do, you're usually able to pull it free. And if you can't, if you have that rare time where you got to go back and get it, like first thing this morning when we had to go back, usually you get back on the other side of whatever you're hung in and you can pull it right out. You don't break off very many rigs doing this. And again, we're going through this area through here is kind of rough as far as the debris and stuff on bottom. Like it's not the most friendly place to be dragging. So these rigs do really well. You know, again, I make these, they're simple to make, basic supplies, and you can make you these way cheaper than what you can buy a dragging sinker from one of these catfish companies. There's a bunch on the market now. If you want to go buy some, you certainly can. Just up to you, your time and budget. You know, you can make these things for a couple dollars a piece if you shop around, source your materials. But you are going to have your time that it takes to make them, and so it's your personal preference. But back when I started making these, it wasn't really a good option for buying them. The few on the market, well, there was only one on the market of these long ones at the time, and I tried them, and first off, they're expensive. I think they were $6 or $7 a piece. They're pretty high. But the other thing that I kept having problems with them was that they were made out of a plastic tubing. And so for it to be effective with that longer length, you needed the air to be in the tubing so that the front half of it would float a little bit. And you know how it is. These things, they're banging around on the side of the kayak when you reel in a fish, or the side of your boat, whatever you're in. You step on them, things happen. And before you know it, you get a little crack. You get a break in the seal around the end of it there, and now all of a sudden, it ain't watertight anymore, and that air escapes. And again, you needed that for that plastic tubing style to work. You needed air in there. So here's the other thing about them plastic ones. That plastic tubing, when you make it, them things, it comes in a coil. And when those coils, the plastic tubing, when it gets cold, it's not very pliable and it wants to go back to that coil shape. So you get out here fall, winter, early spring, that damn sinker will be curved like almost a U shape, because that material, that plastic material, is wanted to curve up, and you can't straighten it out with your hands because it'll just curl right back up. So I started making my own and trying out different materials to try to figure out something that would work better. And so the material I use, which again, all that's down there in video description, you'll learn how. it naturally floats, so you don't need the air in there to float the end of it up. And you also, it doesn't have to be watertight. So it's better. It works better. It's more pliable in all temperatures. Like, you can straighten them things out. You don't have to worry about getting cold temperatures making it coil up. It don't do that. So it's just a better material. Now again though, since then, this was several years ago that I started making these things, because I couldn't, at that point in time, again, I just couldn't get what I wanted. There wasn't a commercially made product available at the time that did what I wanted to do. I liked that style, but the one option on the market at the time that had that style just didn't suit my needs. It just wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So went to the store. I tried out, I spent a summer, man, just trying out all kinds of different materials, and finally found exactly what I wanted. It worked perfectly. And I've been using them ever since, and rarely ever break off. I mean, y'all have seen a lot of my videos, and even now, these unedited videos. It ain't like just me going out, filming an edited video, and being like, yeah, guys, made it all day, fished all day long here, and didn't snag any, didn't break off any rigs. Well, I mean, I would hope you would trust me. I don't have a reason to lie to you, but I mean, if I'm doing an edited video, you don't know if I'm telling you the truth or not. When you get right down to it, you don't know if anybody is. Could just be saying that. Maybe I broke off 3 rigs, you don't know. But when I'm doing these unedited videos, and the camera's just rolling the whole time. Like, if I get snagged and have to break off, you see it. If I go multiple trips in a row without losing a rig, you see it. And so I think it's a testament to how well these sinkers do, the fact that I have gone so many trips with no losses, basically. I think we're going to have a little snag right here when it comes, whatever that is, right there, a log or something. I wouldn't be shocked if we get snagged in it in a second. I don't see anything on it either. I don't know what it is. Something sticking up off the bottom there. We're about up here now. We're going to make this turn and start heading up this way. It's a point up here. This is actually there's another river that feeds in here to the Tennessee. We're going to stay on the Tennessee River and keep going. We're going to go up beside this point and up the ledge here by the Tennessee River. Sometimes you get on a good bite right here at this confluence where these two rivers come together. But it's usually better when you got flow, especially if you got a good amount of flow. Like in the spring, you get a lot of water moving through the dam system. You'll have usually more flow coming down the Tennessee River. So you'll oftentimes have fish stacked on the other side of that point there, kind of out of the faster water. And it can be good, but a day like today, it ain't going to make a bit of difference because we don't have any water movement at all this morning. It's just that time of year. We don't have any. We've had some rain, but not significant rain, so it's not enough for them to generate in the morning hours. They're pretty much just right now doing afternoon and evening hours when energy demand is at the highest. You try fishing in the morning, you better know how to read a map card. That's what you're going to be relying on to go get fish. You're not going to have that current to disperse your scent and have them come to you. I don't mind it, honestly, not having current. I've been doing it so long that it's certainly easier to catch fish with current. Helps your cause. I think fish tend to feed more when you have current flow. but they're going to eat regardless. It don't matter time of day, weather, water, whatever situation is going on, at some place on the river or lake, wherever you're fishing at, you will have fish feeding. Somewhere. All hours of the day and night, regardless of condition, there will be fish feeding somewhere. If you don't believe me, go watch a tournament weigh-in. There's going to be somebody that gets skunked, and they're going to say, boy, conditions were tough today. We just couldn't get on them. The fish had lockjaw. Nothing was going on today. And then somebody else is going to come into that tournament, and they're going to have a huge bag. And they're going to say, man, the bite was on fire today, as we get hung and whatever that was behind us there. But they're going to be like, man, we tore them up today. Gosh, this rod's hung in it too. I told you we was going to, whatever that was, it was sticking up so far. There it comes. We come through it. Oh, our sinker come through it. Well, we went right over the top of that thing in this one. I think this might be a fish on here actually now. I think we got a fish now, y'all. I come over the top of that, and I think a fish hit it. I didn't see nothing on whatever that was when we come over it, but maybe there was something under it, and our sinker banging against it there, maybe it just got a reaction strike. Ain't that something? I'll take them any way we can get them. Oh gosh. Matters not to me. I just want to get bit. I just want to catch some fish today. I don't think he's going to be very big, but that's par for the course today. Good news is, though, we got another one, and it was pretty cool to feel him when we come over that thing. I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was a big rock or a log or what. I'm not good enough with that graph to be able to tell you. I just knew it was something. Oh, man. Yeah, we got it all in this one. By gosh, this fish got my other line too. I guess when we got hung in that thing, it was just, we got us a mess. So now we've had, okay, there goes that one back out. We've had us now a snag earlier today, and now we've had our tangle. That's it for the day, y'all. No more shenanigans. This fish is actually hooked in the side of the head here. You too dumb to get it in the mouth, fish. You ain't coming in the kayak. Tiny little thing. Oh, well, we got that one out. And now we've got him hooked here in the side with the fly. There you go. Oh, he's back. Swimming amongst his friends. He must have been around whatever that was. Around it or in it, something. Thankfully, he'd got in our other line somehow and pulled it up, but he wasn't all wrapped up in it, so. It's going back out there now. Probably need to lower our suspended bait back down. I kind of want, normally I want my suspend rigs 2 to 3 feet off bottom. But I'm kind of just letting it ride right now because of all the ups and downs through here. I don't want to not be paying attention and get that thing snagged. The dragging rigs will pull through a lot. The suspend rigs will not. You get caught up in something on that thing and you're done for. I do not want to be breaking off today. But yeah, man, I've just gotten used to it through the years of doing this, of being able to work around not having current. It's nice when you do have it, but I don't need it to catch fish. Like I can function okay without it. It's just that's just one of the things you got to get used to. You know, if you're going to fish the morning hours, and I prefer fishing the mornings, you're just not going to have flow this time of year. And I've caught, and listen, I mean, is fishing easier when you got current? Sure. But I've caught a bunch of big fish without it. I've caught a lot of fish without it. So current is a tool like anything else. But again, there's always going to be fish feeding somewhere. No matter what's going on, you're going to have fish feeding somewhere. You just got to be able to go get them. Again, you go to the tournament, somebody's had the worst day ever, can't catch nothing, fish got lockjaw. That's a story they'll tell you. Somebody else going to have a big bag of fish they're bringing in. You know, it's just, that's how it goes, man. The fish wasn't biting for one team, but they are the other. Different places, different times, different baits, different techniques. Like, it's just, there's always a bite going on somewhere. Fish got to eat. They're not going to starve to death. They're just not going to. As our suspended bait gets hit up there, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Okay. Suspending bait gets hit again. This was our chunk of skipjack. And I hope he leaves it on the hook. I'd kind of like to save most of our remaining skipjack, whether it's 2 more skipjack or 3, I can't remember. Let's flip our bail over on the other rod. I'd like to save them for tomorrow with how today has gone. Because most of our action today has been on either the fly or the white bass. I could put in a piece of white bass on this, I guess. I think we got one more of that skipjack I cut. I think we got one more piece of him I can use. It's another small dinkity-doo-dah. Here, come up in here. Let's see if you'll open that mouth where I can get hold of it. There you go. Boy, his mouth is rough too. He's pinching down on my thumb, and he bites down, boy. He's got that just rough edges right there. Open up. Let me get that hook out of you. Oh, goodness gracious. Get on out of here. Boy, that thing's rough. Got a fish or we snagged? Snagged again. I'll be glad when we get out of this debris. Honestly, man, it's very tough to, oh crap, this one's hung in whatever it was back there too. I'll let that one load up too much. We may not get this one out. This one was completely loaded up. No, there it comes. There it comes, okay. You see now what I like, those of you that's watched a long time and come with me, that is why I like suspending bait so much. Set on a spot where fish are going to work through, anchor down, and just sit there. And once your baits are set, like, you ain't getting snagged, you ain't got to worry about it, you ain't got to sit here and fool with none of that. You just kick back and relax. That's all you got to do. Just sit there and relax. Enjoy the kickback. Enjoy the fish when they come along. I feel like this, what we're doing today, especially where we're doing it at, it gets to be kind of work, really. I mean, you gotta be a lot more active about it, that's for sure. Just watching your depth if you're suspending and raising your baits up and down, or in today's situation, we're dragging, we're having to constantly trying to work up and over stuff, and so not much kicking back and relaxing in areas like this. Okay, raise that back up. 52 feet right here where we're at. I think we got everything set back out again, moving along. Almost up here now where the two rivers come together. How you doing? You got, okay, you're good. Lens is still clean right there. Where we at? Just over 2 hours now. What we got? 7, 8 fish, I guess. Numbers wise, we're doing okay today. We just haven't been able to get the quality yet. We are definitely due for some quality. I mean, it could happen anytime. I hope it does too. Like, I hope we get rewarded for our efforts today of dealing with these snags and dealing with these small fish. I hope we get us a monster today. It might happen right up here on this point. This point or this ledge going up here by it, man, it's very productive at times. That last week when I'd come down here, and of course we didn't fish up this far. We didn't, by the time, I fished about 4 hours that day, but we had already turned around and went back and was making another pass through before we ever got up to here. But I haven't fished this point, and I can't remember when. A year or two, probably. It's been a long time. I used to fish it quite a bit, but it kind of got to where it was getting hit hard. Fishing guides and casual fishermen and stuff, like it was just getting pounded, and you'd catch fish on it, but the quality for a while wasn't. It was kind of going down, and you can get out here like today, I don't see anybody on it, so hopefully the pressure on it's went down some. I think the fishing guides that used to pound it, I think they've went out of business. I don't ever see their posts anymore or anything on social media. I think they finally went under, as most fishing guides do. Most fishing guides, most YouTubers, they go out of business about as quick as they start up. Flashing the pans. Like old Ryan Borch. I'm friends with old Ryan. Me and him trash talk each other all the time. He decided this year he was going to be a professional fisherman. He's going to be a YouTuber. And this dumbass, I told him he's dumbass too when he was doing it. He quit his job, went full time, trying to be a YouTuber before his YouTube channel was even monetized. Like, he wasn't making a dime on YouTube, and yet still quit his job just to go all in on it. And he was putting out videos there consistently for a couple months. But as most YouTubers find out, and as most fishing guides find out, and most bait dealers find out, fishing's really good in the spring for everybody. Let me rephrase that. Fishing ain't necessarily good for everybody in the spring, but it's a lot easier for everybody in the spring. Like when you're doing something in the spring, you're going to get big fish more frequently. You're going to get bait easier. Like, things are just smoother in the spring. And so when you're getting bit more frequently and getting bait easier, well, guess what? If you're doing videos, it's a whole lot easier to get more videos in the spring. If you're a fishing guide, it's easier to put your clients on fish in the spring. Like, things are just easier in the spring. But when you get on into the dog days of summer, spawn hits, you got to grind. People start losing their will a little bit. It's what separates the men from the boys, as they used to say, the hitters from the quitters. And fishing, the fish don't come as easily. The bait is more of a challenge. Hard time catching fish, hard time catching bait means hard time getting videos. If you're wanting to be a YouTuber, it means it's a hard time putting your clients on fish if you're a fishing guide. And people start dropping like flies. They start just, you don't see them anymore. Like, they're there all the time in the spring, and then all of a sudden they're just gone. Flash in the pan. Like Ryan, I'm calling him bottle rocket Bortz now. Because just like a bottle rocket, you know, when you're shooting off fireworks there on 4th of July, you get them bottle rockets. They're like a 100 pack for a penny they throw in at the fireworks store. That's what it used to be when I was a kid. If you spent $30 for an extra penny, you get a pack of bottle rockets. And me and my neighbor, when I was a kid, we'd shoot them bottle rockets at each other. We'd have a bottle or a pipe or something, and one of us would stand in the yard and another one on the driveway, and we would fire them things at each other and try to hit it. We wouldn't be able to move. Like, when it launches, like, we'd have to stand where we was at, and we'd try to hit each other. And then sometimes we'd take them bottle rockets off the stick and light them and chase each other around and throw them at each other. Fun times when I was a kid. Not very smart, kind of dangerous, but we had a lot of fun doing it. But anyway, a bottle rocket, if you've ever seen one or launched one there on 4th of July fireworks, a bottle rocket makes a lot of noise for a very short amount of time. Like, it's really loud for a couple seconds, and then you get a little weak pop, and it's over. And so every time you launch a bottle rocket, it's like it leaves you feeling unimpressed and underwhelmed. It just don't last very long. And so that's what I think every time one of these new YouTubers comes along and they want to talk trash to me, like, yeah, Justin, I'm gonna pass you up in a couple of years. I'm gonna take over this kayak catfishing genre. You'll see. You just watch. Like, I got a plan. Like, I'm gonna do this. And boy, they kill it, man. They hit it hard for about 2 months, 3 months there in the spring. But time August, September, October rolls around, most of them are gone. Every time. So I'm calling Ryan now Bottle Rocket Bortz, because I don't think he's put out a video in 2 or 3 weeks now. It's been a while. He's doing demolition derby stuff, running around race car track, hitting other cars and stuff. It's some Kentucky thing up there they do. I'm like, Ryan, man, you trying to do this for a living? Most of the time, you can set your watch to it. After Labor Day, views on fishing channels go off a cliff. People and kids are back to school. They're not watching as much fishing content. Football season is going in the fall, so people's into that. Hunting season is getting going. People that are watching fishing videos in the summer, they're switching over to hunting videos in the fall and football and stuff. There just isn't as many people watching and searching for fishing content. So views typically fall off after about Labor Day, usually mid-September. You see a pretty significant drop in your views. So a smart man gets while the getting's good. When the fishing's good in the spring, you are putting out the videos, cranking it out, trying to make your bread. In the summer months, Fishing's not as good, but the views are there. This fish is there too on this front line. He hit it. But your months of June and July, that's your peak months for a fishing channel. Even though the fishing ain't as good during the spawn, like it's sometimes hard to get content during those months, you got to get out there and grind, because that's when you're going to make your nut. And Ryan here, hell, he took off most of damn July and all of August thus far, doing demolition derby crap and whatnot, and I'm like, it's going to be a long winter. I used to call him a starving artist, because they claim a YouTuber's an artist or something. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, but I'm like, he's a damn starving artist who's really going to starve this winter, because his views ain't been very good to begin with, and now they're about to go off a cliff here once we get past Labor Day, and he'll be back working a real job, unless he can talk his wife into supporting him some more. I'm calling him Bottle Rocket Bortz now, because he made a lot of noise for a short amount of time, and then it was over. He was talking a lot of trash this spring. All the stuff he's going to do, he's going to pass me up in no time. His channel's going to be bigger than mine. You know, he claims he's a better fisherman than me, so, you know, people's going to watch him more, and blah, 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 blah. And I just let him talk it too. I just let him, because I've seen this show before. It's a rerun. You know what I mean? Like I've been in this YouTube game a long time. I've seen a lot of people come. I've seen a lot of people go. People say it's easy. You know, like, oh, Justin, you're so lucky you get to do this for a living or whatever. And I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate that I get to do this. But it ain't as easy as what people think it is. I mean, if you're gonna do it at a high level, you need at least 2 to 3 videos a week. You do the math on that, 52 weeks a year, you need somewhere between 100 and 150 videos per year. That means you need to go out and catch fish 100 to 150 times. Have good trips 100 to 150 times. You throw in weather, water conditions, just days where you suck it up, don't do any good, life stuff happening. It's harder than one would think to be able to do that. And some of these YouTubers, they think they're God's gift to fishing, because they caught a few fish in the spring, and boy, when June, July hits, they start struggling, and by September, October, they gone. The snag ain't gone though. There it goes. There it is. Yep, I'm gonna tell him he needs to change his channel name, Bottle Rocket Bortz. Lots of noise, over quickly. Everybody that's seen it is left unimpressed and underwhelmed. If I had a nickel for every person I've seen come along, though. And it ain't just the people that started channels. Hell, I can't tell you how many people I've met telling me what they're going to do, and they never even get started. At least Ryan started. He gave it the college try for a few months. Most of these people just talk about what they're going to do and then never get around to starting. Put that back up there. It's possible. I mean, it's doable. If you come into it with realistic expectations. You know, I mean, I'd recommend people, if you want to do it for a living, build your channel up and get it to a point where you are making a living from it before you quit your job. And again, I ain't trying to discourage anybody. I ain't trying to be negative Nancy here. But most people aren't going to make it, okay? I've said it for years. There is an audience for everyone, regardless of what you're into, what your personality is, what type of videos you want to make. There is an audience for everyone. But that doesn't necessarily mean there is a big audience for everyone. Maybe your audience is 50 people, maybe 500, maybe 5,000. And you can have a nice hobby. You can have a nice, maybe you make a few bucks from it. Maybe your hobby pays for itself. Maybe it's even a profit. Maybe you have a big enough channel that it's a profitable hobby. Maybe you can pay for whatever it is you like doing and make a few bucks on the side. That doesn't make you unsuccessful because you didn't earn a living from it or get to quit your job to do it. Like, you can still be successful, but, you know, I think some people maybe come in and they shoot for the stars. What was it saying? You shoot for the stars and you hit the moon, or something like that. You know, when people come in shooting for the stars and then they miss and hit the moon, and they're like, well, this sucks, I'll quit. When hitting the moon ain't too bad a deal, you know. I mean, if there's something you really like, if you really like fishing, for instance, let's just use that as an example, because that's what we're doing out here today. If you really like fishing and your channel takes off enough to where you can pay for part of your expenses to go fishing, well, I mean, sure, maybe you're not the next Bill Dance, but is it a bad thing if you make a few bucks doing something you love? I mean, it's just all about expectations. But you see it all the time, man. People come into it, or they think they want to get into it, and they're going to change the world. They're better fishermen than you are, and they're going to show me, and then within 6 months, they've flamed out. I've seen it so much, and you see it with the fishing guides too. Yeah, man, I catch fish all the time. I'm gonna start a guide service. You know, and they go out and they'll take their buddies out there or whatever. They're hitting it hard on social media, man. They're posting multiple times a day for a month. And then the posts start coming less frequently. And then by the end of summer, like, you don't even see them anymore. Oh, fish. This one's pulling a little harder here now. He's still pulling. That was definitely a better takedown. I'll tell you, man, I've been spoiled lately. I've been spoiled by the quality of fish lately, and we're getting humbled a bit today, thus far. But we're due, man. We're due for a big fish. We're due for it. I don't know if this one's going to be it, but we're due. I'm getting up here closer to this point now, too. I just got a feeling about this point, man. Got a gut feeling. It may be gas, but I got a feeling. Part of these fish being difficult to judge as far as, oh, we're doubled. Oh, this one's pulling drag over here. This is pulling drag. Let me set this one back a second. This one's pulling drag. We've went through some, man. We've went through some fish. We're doubled. The suspend rod ain't had nothing to go through. We apparently went over the top of some fish. Yeah, I think this one here is better. Better fish than the other one. I don't think the other one's a bad fish, but I think this one here in our hands is, he definitely hit it harder right off the bat. Yeah, I told you we're due. Part of, though, I was trying to say before this fish hit and interrupted everything, part of the reason why it is difficult to judge how big a fish is when you're dragging like this is because you're moving. You know, that motor up there is maintaining our speed, so as these fish start pulling us backward, the motor speeds up to keep us going at a half mile an hour. And so it's compensating for the fish, and so you're always pulling against that resistance. Yeah, we'll get this one up here to the surface. Actually, probably what we'll do is go ahead and land this fish in our hand, send our bait back out while we finish reeling in the other fish. That way we can try to work efficiently. We ought to be getting close enough to maybe get a look at this thing back here. Hopefully that other one don't work his way free while we're fighting this one, or worse yet, him work his way over and these two get wrapped up in each other. That would make for an interesting time. He's back there on the surface. I don't know what's up with this fish. I'm just pulling him in now. Oh my God, if these two, I think for real, I think it's happened, y'all. I think these two fish have got wrapped up with each other. I kid you not. I think they have. Dadgummit. Here's what let's do this. Let's spot lock here a second, because if these two fish are wrapped up with each other, we're gonna have a time with it. We're gonna have to untangle some stuff. It's gonna take a little while. And so, well, it's also possible too, we may have two fish on the same line. One could hit the bait and one hit the fly. That's possible too. No, we've got our other line. We're reeling them both in at the same time. Yep. Gosh, what a mess. What a mess, y'all. This one wasn't even, it was a nice takedown. He didn't turn out to be a very big fish, though. Goodness gracious. Y'all, how do you make messes like this? How do you do it? Every time I take y'all fishing with me, something crazy happens. He's a better fish. He's the biggest one of the morning, depending on how big the other one turns out to be. But the takedown didn't match the size for sure. It's a fun sizer. Come on in here now. Let's see what you've done. Goodness gracious, what a mess. We're gonna have to probably just retie here in a second. Cut our knot and retie. That'll probably be the easiest way to go about it. Goodness gracious, you old fish, you. Step on that line right there. What the heck? He's still all up in this line. Fish, I would have give you some front camera time, but you've ruined it. Almost gonna long arm you there. He's a fun sizer. Biggest one of the morning. He's gone's what he is. We got to sort this mess out. Oh, man. Let's take our sinker off right quick. I'm going to take... My gosh. I'm going to cut this right here. I'm going to cut the knot going to our leader. Again, man, this is unedited, raw and uncut, so you seeing it all today, by gosh. Stupid stuff like this happens. You're here for every bit of it, folks. This is real life. Real life nonsense right here. I think it was going to be easier, though, to cut it than to try to work it free. Hopefully we can just cut that one knot and work the other line out of this mess. Goodness gracious. Them damn fish. How in the world they found each other out there? You know what happened? That one we was reeling in first, he got jealous. He got upset that we dare pick up that other rod before he got his moment of glory being on this video, and he said, I'll show you, Justin. If you're gonna stop reeling me in, I'm just gonna go over there and have you reel me in with the other one. And he did. He sure did. And watch him. You watch and see. We'll go to get him here in a minute. When I get this undone, and he'll be gone. He'll done be pulled off and be gone. I don't know what's happening here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw that whole mess overboard, the whole thing, and I'm going to finish reeling in on this rod and see what line comes up. I may have to reel that damn thing in by hand, actually, because of the way it's knotted up right there. All you can do is laugh at it, folks. That's all you can do. We're going to reel this damn thing in by hand. This is a first. We basically jug lining out here right now, reeling these damn things in by hand. Boy, we finally have something really good happen for us. Have a daggone double on. And this one's going to be underwhelming on size too. I thought he was bigger. I guess it's just the resistance of pulling them in, but I thought he was bigger than this. This fish right here is a jerk. He is the one that caused all this mess. Take our sinker off. I got a problem with you, fish. I got a problem with you, and I'm gonna look at that. Now he just pops off just like that. You daggone fish. All you can do is laugh at it, man. That's all you can do. Just like the girl at the Asian spa, you can either laugh about it or cry about it. So it's just, I need me a nail file to go to town on some toes, I reckon. Make me feel better. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just cut this line right here. Right there above that leader. We'll cut this mess out. Retie everything. We'll put some fresh bait on, and we're gonna keep going, by gosh. This nonsense ain't gonna keep me down today, man. We're not gonna let it get to us. Let me stick this line here. I'm gonna put it right here behind the seat. I'll dispose of this when I get back to the ramp. Okay. Dadgummit, man. I don't know how y'all let that kind of crap happen. It's ultimately, you know whose fault it is? Yours. Because, you know, I got a double on here. Now my line's all wrapped up around the rod tip too. We just can't catch a break all of a sudden. Goodness gracious. But yeah, it's y'all's fault. I mean, I got a double on. I got my hands full. And I can't get a one of yous to come through that line or to come through that screen and help a boy out. You're supposed to be my fishing partners. You ain't lifted one finger to help me since we've been out here today. You ain't landed a fish for me. Oh, suspended rod's going down. Come on, buddy, come on. We sitting here with that suspended rod. Well, I hit spot locked. Oh, he's gonna pull. I spot locked while we're sorting this mess out, and here we go. Just sitting here. Okay. All right. Maybe y'all can redeem yourself here if you'll land this fish for me. Like I was trying to say, man, I've been struggling. Having to do everything on my own. You're supposed to be my fishing partners. I had a double on. If you'd picked up on that other rod, them fish wouldn't have got tangled up with each other, but you ain't reliable for nothing. Hell, I bet some of you is probably sleeping through this video right now. You ain't even awake. I'm out here going through all this and you sound asleep. This fish here nailed it though, didn't he? That was a nice takedown. He's actually going to be, this may be the biggest one of the morning right here. We may have just topped that other one. Yeah. Fun sizer. I may give this a little front camera time. You know what I need to do first though before I land this fish? Because we don't have any baits in the water right now. I want to put him back a second while we get these other lines sorted out. And then I'll land him. Because I want to get some, I mean, we're on some fish right here. That's 3 bites. Very short space here, very close distance. What we'll actually do, when I get all this mess sorted out, we'll go down about the area there where we hooked those other 2 fish, and we'll start there. Which ain't, I mean, you're talking 50 yards. We're not making a long run back down river or nothing. But we'll just go down there and then start our way back up and keep working. Boy, I tell you, we got up here by this point and business picked up. Put our sinker back on. Let's go ahead and cut another bait. Let's just go ahead and get a fresh bait on here. Smaller bait there too, wasn't it? We'll do that again. Put a head on. We'll have our one head. And then we'll do a couple smaller chunks. Well, them white bass fins are tough to cut, ain't they? Them things are, there we go. Get on another chunk right there on this side too. Okay. That. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and just shrink them baits down a little bit. Seems to be smaller baits, definitely, whether it's just location, finally getting on some fish, or maybe it was us shrinking down the baits. Don't know. But we're going to go with what works right here. I am going to throw out this head, though. Because you know me, I like to have a head bait on at all times. All right, we got this one re-rigged here. So let's just throw it off. Let's put our head bait on here. You know what I kind of want to do? Instead of us going backwards, coming through this area again, I'm just going to cast this bait out. And it can be sitting on bottom while we tie our other rig and land this other fish. And we'll just sit here a second, because that other fish right there, the now biggest one of the morning, it hit that bait setting still. So, yeah, we're just gonna cast this one out. Well, I got that line all twisted up again around the damn rod tip. I can't get y'all to do anything for me today. I mean, hell far, won't even undo the line around the rod tip, people. We're in bad shape today. Bad shape out here. Fix your fly on here now. Fix your fly. Get it in the right place. There we go. Okay, let's just cast this out. Yeah, that can just be sitting there on bottom while we sort out the other mess. Yeah, let's throw that out. We're getting there, y'all. Those fish right there cost us some time with their shenanigans, but I think we made the right call by trying to cut this mess and start over versus trying to sit there and untangle it for a half hour. It's like a Rubik's Cube. Once it's messed up, you can't get it back together unless you're a nerd. There's always some nerd out there that can solve a Rubik's Cube. You've got to try to show everybody else up. Like, look at me, I'm smarter than you. I can solve a Rubik's Cube. And what you can do is kiss my ass, nerd. Nobody gives a crap about no Rubik's Cube. Those went out of style in the 80s. You know what I had in the 80s that I played with? A Slinky. You couldn't mess that thing up. A Slinky. Did y'all have a Slinky? That thing, I could teach it to walk down steps. You think that nerd with his Rubik's Cube had a Slinky? Hell no. His parents wasn't going to get him a Slinky because they wanted him to be smart, grow up and be an engineer or something. I think I turned out just fine playing with the Slinky. I don't even know if you can get a Slinky anymore. I guarantee you them nerds are still making Rubik's Cubes. It's their one claim to fame. But the Slinky, I don't know. I don't know if that's still a thing or not. I'll tell you what is a thing is us casting this bait out, because we're about to do it. Just throw that out behind us. And it can sit there on bottom while we fool with this fish, get him landed. We may just sit here a couple minutes after I land this fish too and see what's going on, and then we'll proceed forward. Thought about going back, you know, where we hooked them other fish, but I mean, I cast these out far enough behind us, we're going to be close. Okay, this is going to be our next bait for this suspended rod here. I think we finally ready to land our biggest fish of the morning. If you was worth a damn as a fishing partner, I can't get you to lift a finger for me ever. I don't know why you come on these trips with me and won't do anything to help. It makes no sense to me, but nevertheless, I think I'm finally ready to land this fish for y'all. Would you at least, when I hold him up, take a picture with me? Would you at least do that? Can I get that out of you? Come here, fish. All right. Yeah, it's a solid fun sizer right here. Oh! I thought he had been tired out by now. That's what I get for thinking, he says. Come here. Open up your mouth where I can grab down in there. This one's too big to hold up by the leader and just lift him in, you know. He won't open up for nothing. This one here, boy, bad attitude, man. It's par for the course with this kind of crap happening today. Boy, he just will not calm down. Enough, fish. Open up. There. Maybe. Don't you dare flop either, fish. Yeah, that's a solid fish. He still don't want to open his mouth. Still don't want to do it, man. Got water all over my face. The microphone. It's taken all morning out here, y'all. We've had to go through a lot of shenanigans. We finally got us a good fish. Goodness gracious, come on, open up now. You being ridiculous, fish. What'd I just throw all over my face? Water or slime? Could go either way. I don't even care at this point. I don't even care, man. Hold yourself up here and act like somebody, would you? Look at that, y'all. That's a solid fish, man. It's took all daggone morning out here. We had damn near 3 hours. Some craziness happened here with our tangle and lines and all this, but we covered some water. We got into the right place at the right time and shrunk our bait size down. Whether or not that played a role in us getting bit here, I don't know. But it certainly didn't hurt the cause. So anyway, getting rewarded after all, y'all. It's all worthwhile in the end. This one here is ornery, though. Get out here. Goodness gracious, he still had hold of my thumb. I was trying to get rid of him. Damn near took the glove off. And my thumb with him. Whew. What makes fish be like that? I think they just woke up today just in a pissed off mood. I get like that sometimes too. I wake up and just don't. Some days you just ain't having it, you know what I mean? But that fish right there especially, did he get water? No, y'all still, I've been splashed in the face 3 times now and y'all ain't got a drop of water on you today. It's just your day, I reckon. What's happened here with my sinker? There we go. All right. Well, let's get the next bait on. We already got it cut. Boy, man. Minus the tangle, though, that was fun. That was a fun sequence of events. That last fish there with the bad attitude, buddy, he gave us a hell of a takedown on that suspended rod. Can we count that as a triple? Is that possible since we was kind of sorting out the mess from the double? I don't care, either way. We finally, took us a while today, but we got something going in our favor. And you know, I mean, again, I gave up on the anchor bite there first thing, because I come out here with the notion that it was probably going to be a dragging bite today, just because that's what it's been. But, I mean, had we put in a full session, just spot locked over either in that hole down there or maybe up here off this point, you know, someplace where I expect fish to be, like them fish, you know, we weren't getting bit first thing in that hole. But we know from last week there's some fish kind of in this area. So they could have worked through at any time, or they could have been out feeding and would have retreated back to that hole at some point. And when they did, we would have been there. Same with this point up here. We might have got them first thing. Maybe they move up on it periodically, but at some point we'd have probably caught some fish. But it's just, you know, would that have outperformed us dragging? Tough to say, but probably not with just how things have gone lately. And, you know, and again, today we've got several fish. It's not been, before that last one there, it's not been the best quality, but we have gotten a number of bites today. So the trolling, dragging, it's paid off for us, just not with the best quality so far. But I will be the first to tell you, like, I like suspending baits a lot, man, and you don't have to work very hard to talk me into just anchoring down on a spot and putting in a few errors. But we're going to sit here just a couple minutes, see what happens. And then we're going to get back on the move. We're going to work right up to that point, and we're going to head and take a right and go up the Tennessee River here and work that ledge up toward the bridge. Look right here. That suspended bait just got hit. Is he going to take it down, or he just going to look at it and caress it? He just fondling it. He let it go. We got all white bass on right now. You know, with me only going to fish maybe another hour and a half, and with the big fish bite being so limited today, I kind of want to save the skipjack for tomorrow. Is that wrong of me? Because I've got a bunch of white bass. I think it's best, because the skipjack has been so limited lately, I think I'll take my chances with it tomorrow. We'll just use white bass the rest of the morning here. So I'm probably going to fish another hour and a half. I got to go home today, and I got a couple projects that, you know, y'all know how it is. There's always something to be done around the house. And I knocked out a bunch of projects this weekend. Little piddly stuff's been piling up. I had to get up on my roof and put some tar around the vents and get them on there. You know, it's one of them things I'd put off and put off and put off. Finally got up there and done that. I got some weed killer sprayed around my property. I'd been needing to do that, and got my house, got a good cleaning on it done. I'd bought a new vacuum cleaner on Amazon Prime Day a while back. Finally put that thing to the test, and just getting caught up on little piddly stuff. But I got a couple of projects for this fall. I'll probably put them off a little longer, but it's stuff I want to do. It's going to be a little bit time consuming. Oh, did you see that right there? I don't know what that was. Was that a striper or a carp? It's tough to tell. I got some, here's what I really want to do. I want to pave my driveway from the road all the way up to my house carport area. That's what I want to do. But I think that's way out of the budget, like by a country mile, that far out of the budget. So my driveway right now is partially paved. And why they done it this way, the people that had the house before me, why they done it this way, I'll never understand. You've got the road down here, right? You've got a gap, probably, I think it's 12, 14 feet, gravel. then the pavement starts, asphalt, and it goes up the hill, but not all the way to the top of the hill, part way up the hill, and then it goes back to gravel. And so what happens is when it rains hard, the water runs down the hill, of course, and it washes out to gravel around the asphalt up top. And then the water runs down the asphalt off the end of it and washes out to gravel down there at the bottom before it meets up with the road. And so why the hell they didn't at least start the asphalt at the road and run it up, I don't know. Why they didn't go all the way to the top of the hill with the asphalt, best I can figure, it must have been like somebody, the previous owner must have been friends with somebody that had an asphalt company or paving company, and they had some leftovers one day, and he was like, man, I'm gonna come over there and do part of your driveway or something. That's the only thing I can figure, because it don't make no sense how they done it. But anyway, what I would really like to do is pave that whole thing from the road all the way up to my carport. But I don't know anybody that does that kind of thing, and I've not had an official estimate on it, but I've been told it will be thousands upon thousands of dollars. And that's definitely not in the budget. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably have some more gravel brought in, and at least down there between where my pavement ends before it goes the road, I need that smoothed up, because right now there's such a dip right there. It's really just we're about to get hit. Nope. I saw that fish coming up. I thought he was going to my suspended line. He may actually be. We'll see if that front rod gets bit here in a second. No, there he goes. There he goes away from it. But I gotta do something down there at the bottom, because it's just kept washing and washing and washing, and it's at that point now I gotta do something. So I need to have some rock brought in, have that smoothed up. And I gotta fix the top part too, because it's washed out there in front of where the pavement is on top of the hill. And I thought about, if I can't have it done right, and having like a company comes in, with that can lay the asphalt and go over it with the steam roller, whatever that thing's called, pack it down real good. What I may could do is have gravel brought in, level everything up, and then I might could get out there and buy some of that asphalt in the bag. Because what I had done years ago to try to help with that water running off the driveway was I made me a speed bump, and I made it in a V shape, and I did it with that asphalt in a bag stuff. So I built me like a speed bump in a V shape, and so when that water runs down the hill, it hits that speed bump and diverts off to the side of my driveway like that before it can run off the bottom. And that helps a lot. But when it rains like a monsoon, you still get some that goes down, and over the course of time, it's just washed it out down there. And so I need to fix that. But I thought if I could get some gravel brought in, level that up, then I might could get some more asphalt in a bag and get out there and pack it down and extend it from the end of the pavement now out to the road. And it would take a lot of bags of asphalt to do that. They come in a 50-pound bag. I think it's about $20 a bag. So, I mean, it would be a lot, but I wonder, if I could do that project for a few $100 versus spending thousands to have it done professionally, maybe that's the route to go. The other thing I got to do, I'm going to do some measuring on that today, get my measurements when I get home and figure out what I need to, try to calculate how much gravel you need. Like when you order gravel, it's like you got to figure out like how much gravel do you need. I don't want a whole dump truck full. I don't need that much, but I need to measure it out. So anyway, I got to do that. But the other thing I want to do, I had a lean-to built onto my shed this past spring. I hired a couple idiots off Facebook. I'll never hire anybody off Facebook again. Just another disaster. But anyway, they built that lean-to, and I need some gravel under it. I want to put down some plastic and then put some gravel on there. That way, That way I can park stuff under there and like tires and stuff. The moisture won't get to it as bad. And so I want to do that. And so I need to measure off that area and calculate how much gravel I need. Another thing, and I don't know if I'm going to do this. Here, let's get back on the move too. We've been sitting here, nothing's going on. So let's get our speed set, and I'm going to tell you what else I'm going to do here. Home remodeling project stuff, just stuff you're dying to know about. Normally my channel members are the only ones subjected to this kind of stuff. They get the behind the scenes, what goes on at home type of video, but y'all getting some extra information today with this stuff you didn't even know you wanted to know about. You're finding out about today with my gravel and asphalt projects and all that. I'm letting out this line here on our dragon rigs. Both these, as we get going, we need to let out more line. I'm gonna get our speed dialed in here. Get on the move. I want to work up on this point and work up this ledge here. I thought us catching them 2 fish on the dragon and that one on the suspending, like I thought we might be on a pile of them or something. Might be worth sitting there a second, but clearly they have proven that wrong. Go ahead. I had to pull a lot of line off that rod there when I cut it, so I'll have to re-spool that thing again soon. I'll let off a little bit more line on this other one on the left. But another thing that I'm wanting to do, man, look at that line, our suspended line right there. Like it's a big angle behind us for half a mile an hour. I wonder if we ain't got a little flow now. I wonder if they ain't kicked on a generator or something. Because that line shouldn't be that steep of an angle behind us at a half a mile an hour. We must have a little bit of flow. Maybe I'll slow our speed down just a little bit more. Flip that bell over there. Maybe we'll run us like 0.4-ish up through here. So anyway, I had this lean-to built last spring, and what I wanted to do was be able to move some of the larger items out of my shed, stuff that I didn't necessarily want and getting just drowned there in a monsoon or something, but stuff that could get a little wet and bigger items and stuff. And so things like ladders, lawnmower cart, the electric bikes, stuff like that. What I would like to do though, is I would like to park my lawnmower under that lean-to as well. But here's the thing, the way the storms come in, normally when the storms come in, they normally blow from west to east most of the time. And the way that lean-to is, the rain blows into this side, which is the highest point. The lowest part of the lean-to, like it goes down like this, so the lowest side's over here, rain blows in this way. And what I'm thinking about doing is building walls on the 2 steeper sides of the lean-to. So, because the shed's over here, that's obviously one wall. And instead of having 3 open sides like it is now, have 1 open side. Wall here, and just drive the mower in here, and then it would be protected from the rain. Still be open, I mean, it doesn't need to be enclosed, the whole thing, but it would keep the rain, keep the mower from getting just drenched. Keep the other stuff in there from getting drenched. And if I put up walls, it would give me more opportunities to hang stuff. And the walls wouldn't even have to go all the way to the ground. Like they could even come down halfway or 3/4 of the way. Like you could leave the bottom open, because I'm just going to be using it to block out the rain. My hesitation with doing that is really just cosmetic. It's not going to look as good as it does now. So either way, I'm going to do some measurements today when I get home and kind of do some calculating, figure out what I would need. I may go to Home Depot today and just look around and see what I could use, see if there's like some kind of paneling. I mean, ideally would like if I did walls on the lean-to, you'd like it to be the same material as the outside of my shed. That way it would match. I could match up the color and everything. But I may do that, and then that would allow me to move the lawnmower from my carport over to the lean-to, because my lawnmower, I have space in my shed for it, but I can't fit it through the door. It's too wide. It's just a smidge too wide. And so if I move it off the carport to the lean-to, I'm gonna have so much more space on the carport. And so I got little projects like that. The driveway has to be done. I've got to do something, especially down there at the bottom where the road is. Like, I have to do something with that. So I want to do some measurements today and try to calculate how much gravel I'm going to need. I don't know about buying the asphalt in bags. Most of that stuff's made for like potholes. Like if you got a concrete driveway or asphalt driveway or a parking lot or something and you want to fill in potholes, that's what that stuff is made for. But it is asphalt. And if you get out there and tamp it down, it'll cure and be hard, just like normal asphalt. And when I made that speed bump, I mean, you can't tell a difference in it versus the rest of my driveway. Like it really, I mean, it works well. It's $20 a bag for a bag that's, 50 pounds of that stuff ain't very much. That stuff's heavy. So I don't know how many bags it would take to do that from where my driveway currently ends, the paved part, to the road, and if it would be worthwhile. I just don't want to spend thousands of dollars to have somebody do it professionally. And I honestly don't know how much that kind of thing will cost. Just everybody that I've asked about it has said, get ready for sticker shock. Like it's a huge expense, especially as long as my driveway is, because my driveway, it's long, and I wouldn't think that paving over the part that's currently paved like that probably wouldn't, because you wouldn't have to do like a full, I think they do 2 inches of asphalt. You wouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't need another 2 inches. You just need to basically resurface what's there. But when you get to the top of the hill, well, most of the way up the hill, which again, why they didn't run it all the way to the top, I don't know. They had to know it was going to wash out, doing it like they did. But anyway, going from where the asphalt currently ends up to my carport and the big turnaround area I have there in the driveway, like that is a big area. And so I think it's just going to be, too much. Now I have a neighbor across the street from me. And of all the neighbors I have, he's the best. Look, I've lived there now. It's the same guy. He's lived there longer than I have. And I've had that house now, it's 2024. I got it in 2006, so that's 18 years I've lived there. Me and my neighbor across the street, we have never spoken to each other, ever. 18 years, not one word of conversation. We're both nice to each other. If we're driving up the road and the other's out working in the yard or mowing, we'll wave. We'll smile and wave every time. Very polite, very friendly toward each other. We've never spoken. He's the best neighbor I have. He keeps his yard looking amazing. He keeps his property good. He doesn't pester me. He's very quiet. Like, he's the best neighbor you could have. The other people live beside me I hate with passion, but this guy, he's amazing. And anyway, he had his driveway last year, or year before, I think. He had it professionally done. And his driveway is comparable length to mine. And so I was thinking about, and this is one of the things I'm not good at. I'm not much of a conversationalist. I can sit here and talk to you all on camera all day, but me going up to someone I don't know and be like, hey, stranger, how the hell, that's not me, okay? Boy, big splash right over there. I don't know what that was. Oh, got a fish right here. I know what that is. Oh, he let it go. He let it go. But I've thought about going over there and talking to my neighbor. But I don't know if that's considered rude or not. Because think about this, like him and I, again, we've lived next to each other for 18 years. We've never spoken. And am I going to go over there and knock on his door and be like, hey neighbor, how you doing? I live across the street. Nice to finally meet you after 18 years. Just curious, how much did you pay for your driveway? You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that, I don't think. Is that rude? Because you ain't supposed to ask people how much they paid for something anyway. Like, I don't think that's considered polite to just go up and like, hey, what'd you pay for this? I don't think that's considered good manners. And with me having never talked to this guy in 18 years, I don't know how to bring it up. I mean, honestly, what I wish would kind of happen was and unfortunately, every time Daphne the dog gets out, she never goes to his house. She goes to all the other neighbors who I don't want to interact with. She goes there, but she won't go to this guy. She's never been over there to my knowledge. I wish, though, she would get out and go over there, and he would call me to come pick up the dog because she's got my phone number on her collar. And then I could be like, oh, thank you for holding Daphne here for me. You know, nice to finally meet you. Have it come up organically, maybe conversate a little bit, and then go into like, man, I really like your driveway. Whoever done it did a fantastic job. Could I get the name or number of whoever done it? And then maybe get him talking about it a little bit and kind of bring it up organically. But if I just walk over there, knock on the door and be like, hey, neighbor, nice to meet you after 18 years. Can I ask you what you paid for this driveway here? Like, I don't think that's good manners. Like, I just don't think that's what you're supposed to do. But I want to know, because they did a great job on his, and his driveway is about comparable size to mine. So whatever he paid for it, it would give me a reference to know what I could expect. Plus, too, I'd be able to find out who did his driveway. Because you know how it is. It's just hard to find anybody that's worth a damn to do anything. Like, in this day and time, nobody wants to do a damn thing when it comes to work. And so it would be good to know what company. Like, at the time, I remember them being there that day. But I don't remember. At the time, it wasn't on my radar of something to do, so I wasn't paying attention to what the company was. But I know it's going to be real expensive just by the manpower they had out there. Like, they brought in rocks first. They re-rocked his driveway. And then they had a dump truck in there. They had another machine in there. They had the steamroller thing in there. I mean, like, it was a big operation. Like, they had half my road shut down because of all their machines when they were doing it that day. And just the amount of machinery they had to bring out, the number of people on the job, I have to believe this is, I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars here. Because, I mean, for them to bring out the machinery, that's going to have just a minimum price alone. And you talk about the length of the driveway, and like, I think it's going to be way out of my budget. But I would like to know. I mean, I'd like to know just for future reference. But I can't walk over there. I can't walk over there and just be like, hey, how much you pay for this? I know some of you would. Some people are like that. I think that fish hit my graph or something. We lost our map card. There we go. some people are just like that. They're very direct like that, but I just don't. I would rather it happen organically. And otherwise, I don't have a way to just conversate with this guy. I don't have a reason to go over there. And every time I see him out, he's mowing. That's when him and I, and for 18 years now, every time, if I'm driving up the road and he's mowing, we wave at each other. If I'm out there mowing and he's turning out his driveway or pulling into his driveway, we wave at each other. We're always friendly toward each other. I think there's a mutual respect there because our neighborhood is very, and my channel members, y'all have seen this, you know what I'm talking about, but my neighborhood is very hit or miss. Like you have a nice house and then you have a dump. You have a nice house and then there'll be a 1983 single wide trailer that they're cooking meth in. Like it is one extreme to the other in my neighborhood. And so this fellow across the street, he's always maintained a very good property over there. He keeps the yard mowed. He's got flowers. He's got crepe myrtle trees. Like it's a nice property. He does a very good job with it. I feel like I do a pretty good job with my property too, keeping everything mowed, keeping it look good. So I think there is probably a mutual respect that him and I have for each other, even though we've never spoken. I don't even know his name. Crazy as that is, I know. It's 18 years you live beside somebody, you don't even know each other's names. But there's a mutual respect there, just for the fact that we keep a nice property in a neighborhood that is quickly going to crap. So there's that. And I did stop and talk to this guy's wife. I have talked to her. I haven't talked to him, I've talked to her. She had a crazy accident. This is a few months ago. I can't remember if I told this story or not. I'll tell you again if I did, because it was pretty crazy. I don't know how she done it, honestly. But like I mentioned, his driveway, you come up the road and you're going to turn to the right to go up his driveway, and it's concreted now, it's asphalted right up to the road, like it's a nice driveway. And right there off the road, you've got a ditch, on each side of the driveway, right? Like there's a tunnel there. When water flows down, it's going to go under his driveway and whatnot. His wife, one day I'm coming up through there, and his wife has turned into their driveway but missed it. Like she drove past the driveway several feet and then turned off the road and got her car stuck down into the ditch. Like it was the damnedest thing. Like I have no idea how she done it. And so I'm pulling up the road here. I see she's still in the car. And so I going up to my driveway and come out because I thought maybe she's having a medical emergency or something. You know, I was going to call 911 or whatever need to be done. And she rolls down the window and she's shook up. This just happened right before I was coming up the road apparently, but she's shook up from it. But she said that it was early morning, the sun was shining, and she said she couldn't see good and the windows was fogged up or whatever, and she just missed the damn driveway. But she missed it by a lot. And it ain't funny, but it kind of is. And drove her car down into that ditch. And so, you know, she was fine. She wasn't hurt or anything, just shook up from just having a wreck or whatever. And so I was like, well, you know, I'm driving my car, a little compact car, Honda Fit. I'm like, I can't pull you out, honey. I can call AAA for you, though, or call a wrecker. She's like, I already called AAA. And I was like, okay, well, do you need anything? Because I can sit here with you, or you're welcome to come wait at my house, you know, whatever you need to do, you know, because I didn't know if her husband's home or what. You know, she's, again, all shook up and shaking and everything. And she said, no, I'm just going to wait for him here. And I guess AAA was behind that day, because when I went back out later on for lunch, she was still there and still waiting in the car. Like, she didn't even go to the house and wait. She waited in the car the whole time. It was an odd situation. The whole thing was odd about that. But in hindsight, now, I wish I had went over there later on in the evening and knocked on his door and be like, hey, just wanted to check on your wife, make sure she was doing okay, make sure you're okay. And oh, by the way, really like your driveway. Yeah, and maybe I could have led into it like that. Me and him, I don't know how old he is. I would say he's probably in his 60s, if I had to guess. So it's possible him and I both live there the rest of our lives and never speak to each other. It's possible. It's possible him and I may never actually talk. But yeah, always something going on in my neighborhood, man. Always something. Somebody got shot in my neighborhood several years ago. There's a drug house. It finally got shut down. There's all the time some deal going on, and somebody got lit up right up there. I think the people that live there, they went up the road now when that place got shut down. It's a unique neighborhood for sure. Like, you literally go every other house. It's a nice property, a dump. Nice property, a dump. And it's like that all the way around the neighborhood. Everything's got so expensive in my town. It's just the houses where people actually, where the owners live in the house, people keep up. They keep up the property. But what's happened since COVID and the pandemic and real estate prices in Tennessee went through the roof, you start having these people that anytime property comes up for sale, these people in California, New York, Michigan and stuff, they buy the property, sight unseen. They just pay cash for it. Fish. Oh. He hit it. Had a nip. But they'll buy these properties, and if they ain't wanting to live in it themselves, or if they ain't wanting to live in it right now, they just rent it out. And these people that rent, they're not emotionally invested in the property. Renters never are. Back when I was working, you'd go to the bathroom and right there eye level with the crapper, there'd be a sign. And this sign was at a few of the hospitals I worked at. It was apparently a common sign, just regurgitated amongst different hospital systems, that it would say, are you a renter or an owner? And they would want you to basically do a better job there at work, because if you're renting, you would walk past the piece of trash in the floor. If you're an owner, you would stop and pick it up. If you were a renter and the call light's going off, you would just keep walking. If you're an owner, you'll go in there and see what the patient needs, and just stupid stuff like that. And it was so idiotic, because my thing was always at the hospital, like, really? Am I a renter? Am I an owner here? Are you offering me ownership of the hospital? You giving me a stock plan here? I don't think so. Hell no, so I'm a renter. I show up, I serve my time, and I collect my check. And if the day comes I stop showing up, I ain't gonna be an owner anymore, because you're gonna cut ties with me. Same way you would with a renter if they stop paying rent. So I ain't gonna be no damn owner at work, okay? Unless I'm owning the business, unless you offering me some stake in this company, I'm gonna be a renter here, by God. And it's the same way when these people are renting these properties. They ain't putting in a great deal of effort to maintain the place, because they're just there living temporarily until they can better their own situation. And so it's like at my neighborhood. Some of the properties that are being rented, the yard ain't never mowed, fence is overgrown, you know, and then of course you get the drug houses. We've had a couple of them, and so it's just, that's how it is, man. That's the way it goes. It's funny though, you see that a lot in neighborhoods. Just I'll give you for instance, downtown in the city I live in, the downtown area, like back before my time, 50, 60 years ago, that was the rich part of town, right? Like those are the old big houses downtown. That's where the money was back in the day. Nowadays, you go through there, all the houses are run down. They're still big, but everything's kind of falling apart, run down, and it's just, the whole downtown area now it's all Mexicans in there. Like they've come in, they're renting those houses. You know, the properties all look terrible now. And you see that a lot, where areas that once were prominent in kind of highfalutin areas, when the people who own those properties, when they die off, most of their kids, of course, have moved on. They've built their own lives somewhere else, so they either rent out the houses or they just sell off the houses to get rid of it. And those neighborhoods, those communities just go to crap. And so you end up with just these places that are just run down, and it's amazing to think what they used to be. It's amazing. I think that's kind of the way in my neighborhood too. They're just, in the beginning, it was only nicer properties, and then as time went on, it's just, we've gotten some riffraff in there. And yeah, that's how it is. But I'll tell you what I don't want to do. I don't ever want to be one of these people. Like I got that one neighbor beside me. He's too damn close. I hate his guts. He's trashy. His family's trashy. Like they're all just trashy people, and they're right there on me. They're the closest neighbor to me. I can't stand them. But for the most part, I've got a little space between me and the other people. I've got 4 acres. And I'm in a good location because I'm a couple miles from the interstate. I'm a mile from Walmart. Like I got everything I need close by, but I got me a little sanctuary, with the exception of my neighbor that I hate beside me. What I don't ever want to do is live in one of these subdivisions where it's just cookie cutter houses with a yard 10 foot by 12 foot in front and a 10 foot by 12 foot yard in the back. And giant house, giant house, giant house. Like you can't tell one from the other. Like I would not want to live in a place like that where you've got no privacy. You gotta hear everything going on with your neighbor because you're so close to them. You're probably going to pay some HOA fee monthly because somebody's got to manage that thing. You know, somebody's got to manage the community pool. They got to take fees for that. Somebody's got to go around writing you tickets because you didn't mow your yard this week or something, you know, which, I mean, that would be the one. Oh, fish, that one's pulling. That one's going to strip some line. Okay. We went a dry spell there without getting bit, but we got one here. He's a digging buddy. All right. Was this our head bait here? I think it was. I think this was the head. 51 feet here. He feels good. I think this is going to be a quality fish. Yep. I think we got a quality fish on here. We were due again. I thought we got them 3 fish down there. I thought, like, okay, we're on to something here. And of course, we sat there, didn't get any more, and now we're on the move. We ain't got no more, and just keep chugging along. Though we've covered a fair amount of water this morning. from where we started. That's the thing with this ledge fishing, man. You just go half a mile an hour, work that ledge, and over the course of 4 or 5 hours, hell, you've covered 2.5 miles. And I promise you cover enough water, you run into some fish. These fish will work up and down these ledges, but you cover enough, you bound to run into them. I think this right here has got potential to be a good fish. With us pulling into the resistance here, it's tough to know 100% sure, but I think it's got some potential. Damn nice takedown, pulling some line. We'll know here in a few more seconds. If y'all want to help me land this thing, go ahead and get your glove on. I'll reel him up here and you snatch hold of him. I think our other rod over there got tapped. Thankfully, this fish here ain't in this other rod. We don't need no more dang tangles today. No more today, folks. We've had all the tangles we're gonna do. Okay, I see my sinker. Where's the fish at? He's over here behind. Yeah, that's another fun sizer. I don't think this is gonna be as big as the last one, but it's a quality fish nonetheless. It's a good one. Come here, fish. All right, there's some fish along the bottom too. We're about to be pulling into some more. Hopefully this fish has still left the bait on, and we'll throw it back out while we hold him up. Goodness gracious. You acting like somebody now, ain't you, fish? Here, y'all sit up here in the front seat. If you ain't gonna land this fish for me, get out of my way so I can see. It's hard to look down my chest here with y'all sitting there in the way. Uh-huh. Yep. Nice. Nice, y'all. It ain't been smooth sailing out here today. We've had to grind a little bit, but we're getting a fish here and there, by gosh. When we leave here today, here, I'm gonna go ahead and hold this thing up before I let that other line out. Nice. That's a quality fish right there. This is a skinnier fish here in another month. Get more of its weight back on. For its size, it should be bigger, but again, that's just post-spawn. That's where they've lost that weight. They're guarding the nest and whatnot. And so this one here, it's not really marked up. It's got a mark on its head that's healed. You can see it's fairly fresh mark right there. He's wanting to flop. Get on then, you old fish. But a month from now, that fish will be more, it'll weigh more appropriate amount for its size. Let's fix this bait back, and we'll have to rehook it. It's got the mouth of this white bass tore up. We'll go through the other nostril there. I'm gonna send it back out. Down it goes. Well, after we get there we go. I had the line around the rod tip again. Goodness gracious, y'all, it's always something. Nice, y'all, we're finally getting there, man. We're getting there. It started out slow, dink fish, just here and there, sporadic, and we're getting up here closer to this point, and quality is improving. So we'll keep working our way Keep working our way up through here. I need to lower this bait down a little bit. I need to lower it down a lot, apparently. I ain't been paying attention to the suspended bait as much. I need to do better at that. I think they may have kicked on some flow. I think they may have, because that line, at a half a mile an hour, that line shouldn't be so far behind me. And we're going into the flow. If there was current, we'd be going into it. So they may have turned on a little bit this morning. Either way, if you have flow and you're dragging, you want to go into it. That's going to help you control your speed. If you try dragging with the current, then you got to go faster than what the flow is, or else your leader gets all wrapped up with your sinker and whatnot. Or gets, worse yet, gets in front of your sinker. Then you're just going to end up getting snagged. I'm going to go ahead and flip that bail over there. All right, got all our lines out again. We on the move. That other rod had gotten hit while we were fighting that fish, but nothing ever hooked up. Yeah, we're gonna get over here. Once we get past this point, work this ledge, we're gonna work it a little bit more precisely when we get up here, because this ledge has a more pronounced drop to it. It's got a brake line there on the bottom, and so when you have a brake line, you want to work that. You want to work it, work the edge. The areas we've been fishing coming up through here this morning, you had gradual slopes, like there wasn't a defined brake line. It just gradually worked down to the bottom. Oh, here we go. Another one is taking some line. I had saw, or I had seen, those of you grammar police out there, we had went across some fish, and I wonder if this wasn't one of them. Yeah, we might have should have worked this point a little bit more. Should have worked it earlier in the day, maybe. Maybe we should have sat out here first thing this morning. Just used to be the damn fishing guides on it all the time, but again, they've gone out of business. It's like that, man. Just like the YouTubers and fishing guides, they hit it hard for a little while, they boast, tell you how great they are and all the things they're gonna do, and 6 months later, when they ain't got the success they wanted, they quit. You see that in all walks of life. It ain't just YouTube and fishing guides and stuff, it's that way across the board. Everybody's gonna do something. Very few people actually do, though. It's always what they're gonna do. Same thing when people light me up in the comment box. When I see you out, Justin, I'm gonna whoop a far out of you. I'm gonna run you over when I see you on the water. You know, blah, 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 blah. It's always what they're gonna do. You know what never happens? They never actually do it. Never actually happens. This fish, though, he said he told his friends he's going to bite a bait with a hook in it today. And you know what? Sure as the world, he did. He followed through. I tip my hat to him. I commend him for actually following through. Most people don't fish. Most people talk a big game, but that's all it is. Like old Bottle Rocket Bort. It's going to change the world on YouTube. I ain't posted a video in weeks. I'm gonna tell him to change his name, that channel. I wanted him to change it to Starving Artist initially, but now I want him to be Bottle Rocket Borts. This fish right here said he can't tell me what his nickname is. It's too vulgar for this video. You wouldn't believe what these other fish call him. All right, I see it. It's another fun sizer. Well, folks, it's taken a while today, but we're finally getting a little bit better quality fish. No monsters, but big enough to make me happy. Definitely big enough to justify the trouble we've gone through today with the tangled lines and whatnot. Yeah, this one here, fun size length, a little skinny. Where's your glove at? What'd you do with it? Get your glove on here. Handle your fish. One time I'd like for you to come through that screen and land one of these fish for me. Bait a hook, do something. Come on, fish, come up here. You done? You're gonna thrash around a little more. I got a feeling it's gonna thrash around a little more. Okay. Well, I guess it's done. Yeah. This one here is chewed up that bait something terrible. I'll give you a little front camera time, fish. I think you're big enough to justify it. There we go. Nice. Just a fun sizer. Needs a little bit more weight on it, but this one actually may be, I'm looking at the mouth here, this may be a female fish possibly. Look, the mouth looks a little bit small in proportion to its head, so could be a female, just a skinnier female. But nice. I'll take it, buddy. I'll take it. Nice to get a bite. See you, fish. Tickles me fancy to get a bite, y'all. It's another one up here, though, off this point. We'll just keep working our way along here. Right now, I'm about to work us over here a little to the left and get us on this, work on getting us onto this ledge over here. Definitely want to be on that brake line as we go up through here. I'm gonna switch this bait out. This one here is all tore up. We'll put another piece on. Old white bass getting it done. We ain't used, I don't know how many baits we've used. I'll have to count up, but I mean, it ain't been very many, so if I can be somewhat conservative tomorrow, I may be able to get 3 days out of my baits. Let's go ahead and, since the smaller bait is catching us fish, let's just go ahead and cut that gut pocket out of that one too. Okay. Back out it goes. All right. Well, once again, the dragging baits has far outperformed the suspended bait today. Although we did get a really good fish on the suspended bait. Part of that, too, could be the fact that I haven't been very diligent, as that rod was getting hit. I haven't been very diligent with raising the bait up and down, so it's not been 2 to 3 feet off bottom the whole time like I would ideally like it to be. So there's that. That could be part of it too, but either way, the number of fish today is sufficient for me. I'm happy with how it's went as far as numbers go. I wish we could get a monster at some point. I'm not going to fish very much longer. Y'all ain't going to be fishing with me much longer for sure because my battery's about dead. But I'm probably going to fish. I'm going to fish my way up to the bridge here. And then I'm probably going to get on out of here. So hopefully we get us a monster between here and there, but numbers-wise, we've done good. It's just been, it took us a while to get on some of these fun sizers. We had to cover a good distance to get on them, but we've got us a few quality fish in addition to the numbers. So, I mean, I think it's been a pretty good day with the exception of the snag and the tangle where we had to cut 2 lines. I'm gonna flip that bail over there. Oh Lord, look at the ski boater here coming down here at us. Is he really gonna cut right in front of me? He's really gonna cut right in front of me. You got the whole back side over here. What a pissant. I can't stand people like that. Look out right there. Right in front of us. You got this whole open side. He could have went down that way and just been nice and looped around. Instead, he comes over here right in front of us. What a jerk. I'd like to say a lot more explicatives right now, but I'm gonna be good because they're... So one of you kids out there may be waking up from your slumber and I might be on your TV set or something. People like that piss me off though. Can't stand it. I don't even know what the boats like that are good for. You see them going up down river, what the hell are they good for? It ain't a wake boat. You don't see people skiing behind them things. Like, what do? They just drive up and down? That don't seem very fun to me. What the hell do I know? If I was just gonna drive up and down the river, I think I'd rather either be in a kayak where I could enjoy the scenery, or be in a jet ski where you could jump some waves, or be in a bass boat where you can go 80 miles an hour. But like that boat right there ain't doing none of them things. You just riding around. I don't understand people. I don't understand anything anymore. I don't fit in society today. That's why I can't live in one of them subdivisions with the cookie cutter houses and the HOA fees. I can't do it. The HOA would vote me out. Ain't no way I'm paying them $200 a month, $500 a month, whatever the hell HOA fee is for that neighborhood. Ain't no way I could pay it just for them to maintain the swimming pool and write out fines for people not mowing their yard. Like, I'm all for people need to mow their yard, okay? Keep your property looking good. But I ain't gonna live in a neighborhood that charges you $500 a month to tell people that they need to live in a neighborhood where the yards are cut. Like, you should do that on your own. I couldn't do it. I don't want so much land that it's unmanageable. You know, at some point I'm gonna get old and I ain't gonna be able to keep up a big property. But my property now, 4 acres, I mow about 3 of it. I can maintain it, and I think I could maintain it into old age as long as I keep my health for the most part. So, if I just had a little bit more distance between me and that one neighbor, I'd be set. Goes another bass boat. Getting more people out on the water now. It's that time of day. That's why I like fishing mornings, because the time I'm getting done, that's when everybody's coming out. The back end of our kayak is spinning around here, y'all. See, I'm wanting to work. Let me show you here on the graph for the handful of you still watching. Right here is that point that comes off. It's right here, okay? That's that point. And you see on this part of the ledge, you see all them contours that are close together? That's because right here it's real steep. It comes off real steep angle and then levels out. And so I like working them edges in situations like this. So I'm wanting to work this edge down through here, all the way down through here. But problem is we got the wind blowing. Since we made this turn, the wind is blowing behind us. And so it's spinning the back end of the kayak around right now and kind of pushing us sideways as we go along. Now I could offset that by going faster, or if I had a drift sock, I could put a drift sock out and keep us going straight. I don't personally like using a drift sock because it's one more thing behind us for a fish to get wrapped up in when you're reeling it in. But I have used them. I have used them before. As we were getting a little tap right there in this back run. I have used drift socks mostly when anchor fishing. If you got a little flow and you've got a wind blowing across you, what happens oftentimes is your kayak will just sway back and forth in the current, in the wind. And meanwhile, your baits are down there just going back and forth across the bottom. And so you throw out a drift sock in front of you, the current will catch it and it'll help hold you straight and prevent a lot of that sway. So I use a drift sock occasionally in that situation. But I really don't like using them when I am dragging or trolling because it's just, I mean, hell, we done had that one fish or them two fish get tied up in each other earlier. Do that and throw in your drift sock into the mix too, and it's like, it's just, the more stuff you got out, the more likely you are to tangle. It don't matter if it's fishing lines or accessories or what. The more stuff you got out, the more likely you are for something to go wrong. And so I want to eliminate as much of that as possible, keep things as simple as possible with the setup. And so I don't even have a drift sock with me today. But in this situation where you've got a tailwind hitting you and it's pushing you faster than you want to go, you do get oftentimes the back end of the kayaks sticking around, swinging around. So just one of them things we're going to deal with for a few more minutes. Oh, hell, here comes that guy again. Are you kidding me? He's coming right back. I told you, all these people do, just drive around, right up and down. This guy. I mean, again, what the hell is a boat like that good for? You can't do anything on a boat like that. It ain't even like a houseboat. You can't even, it ain't like you're gonna go out camping or go to the ball game up there, camp out by the stadium or something in a boat. Like, you ain't gonna do it. It's useless. That kind of boat right there, there's no reason to have one. And that idiot right there, he looks like the type that'd be perfect for that boat because he seems useless too. Idiot. Up and down, that's all they do. I ain't gonna get pissed off today though, y'all. I'm being good all day today. Ain't nobody getting my blood pressure up today. It ain't happening. We've had a relatively good day, minus the snag and minus the tangle. We've got some fish. We've had a good time out here together. We've talked about the Asian spa. We've talked about these people on YouTube that are like bottle rockets, all talk, and then you never see them again. I'll tell you this though about the Asian spa. I've talked some of yous into going. I had a fella comment recently that he had heard me talk about it and was going to go give it a try. And to the point right now of me filming this video, he ain't followed up and told me how it went, but he heard me talking about it on video and was going to go try one out. I'm telling you folks, give it a shot. Get you a pedicure and get you a bidet and change your life. You'll have a clean ass and smooth feet. Clean ass and smooth feet's all you need for a happy life. Lord Almighty, it's about time to go. Hell, my battery's about dead anyway. We gotta wrap this up. Hell, it's a wonder the battery ain't already dead. I'm gonna fish just up here to the bridge, y'all. I guess y'all ain't gonna see the rest of the way because my battery's gonna crap out here any second now. But thanks for coming with me today. Appreciate you coming along. Be nice if just once you'd pick out one of these tangles for me though. I'm gonna keep waiting on that. I ain't gonna hold my breath waiting, but I'm gonna keep waiting on it. But anyway, y'all, I'll guess I'll see you on the next trip. Hopefully be filmed tomorrow. Be doing some catfishing. I'll see you then.